Chapter 191. Su-Yun raised his hand to signal for Cho-Yun to stop talking. You know I won't agree. Why are you still asking? Cho-Yun lowered her head. She knew that Su-Yun would not agree to what she was going to say, but she did not expect to be rejected before she could speak. After the incident with the Tang family, Cho-Yun was clearly aware of Su-Yun's logical thinking ability. He could combine subtle things together to guess other people's thoughts, so it was not difficult for her to know that Su-Yun already knew what she wanted to say. Combined with the current situation in Suang, Su-Yun only needed to use his brain slightly to easily know Cho-Yun's current plans. If you still insist, my answer will still be the same. Su-Yun said. I think we should change the topic. No, this is the only thing I want to tell you today. Cho-Yun insisted. I have to go back to Suang. Su-Yun, please believe me. I will be careful. Moreover, my body has almost recovered. Even if I encounter Green Ghost again, I believe I can escape from him. Su-Yun was right. Cho-Yun did have a plan to return to Suang to investigate, but it was too risky. Even if Cho-Yun had recovered more than 90% of her strength, Suang was now a dragon's pool and tiger's den for them. Escaped from Green Ghost's hands? Su-Yun was expressionless, but his voice was full of doubt. You mean you can withstand the 7 extinction palm again? Cho-Yun, you underestimate Green Ghost too much. A super expert will not let the people he wants to catch escape from his hands again and again. Cho-Yun had a different opinion on this from Su-Yun. But now Green Ghost already knows that I am on the east side of the river. Since he wants to catch me so much, he will come to the east side of the river sooner or later. If he comes to the east side of the river without us knowing, won't our situation be even more dangerous? He won't let his subordinates do it again. With this lesson, I dare to swear that Green Ghost will do it himself. Because of this, I dare to say that he won't come to the east side of the river to cause trouble for us for a while. Su-Yun rejected Cho-Yun's idea without hesitation. Green Ghost's 4 experts have all died on the east side of the river. He doesn't have enough people in Suang. I think Hades can help him once, but he definitely won't help him forever. Although I didn't have the chance to come into contact with Lung Chun, since he is called Hades and has such great strength, I believe he won't want a piece of trash to submit to him. If he helps Green Ghost settle Suang, and Green Ghost still needs his help, he definitely won't help again. Cho-Yun didn't speak and quietly listened to Su-Yun's analysis. Su-Yun took a breath and continued. If Green Ghost didn't borrow the power of Hades to settle Suang, he might have dared to let go of Suhong's matter and come to the east side of the river to deal with you and Guagua. But now that Hades has given him a stable platform, if he doesn't take the opportunity to stabilize his foundation and comes to the east side of the river to find trouble, what do you think Hades will think of him if Suang falls into chaos? Cho-Yun frowned. You mean he doesn't dare to leave now? It's precisely because he doesn't have enough people by his side and Suhong's matter is his top priority. He will definitely settle Suhong's matter personally first before he has time to take care of us. Su-Yun's analysis was not without reason. Now Green Ghost has already been pushed to a position. If he doesn't sit steadily, he will fall very badly. He won't be in a hurry to deal with such a small matter, and let himself be unable to stabilize his foundation. Cho-Yun agreed with Su-Yun's words, but she still insisted on her choice. Then I have to figure out what state Suang is in now. What if he has already stabilized his foundation? Then we are already in danger. If he hasn't stabilized his foundation, then I have to figure out when he will, and when he will bring us trouble. I understand the principle of knowing yourself and your enemy, but don't we already know some news? Su-Yun said. Please believe in my judgment. I'm sure that Green Ghost has no time to deal with us now. Even if his 4 experts are in the east side of the river, he can't rush over immediately. This means that he has something to let him stay in Suang to settle. Cho-Yun no longer spoke. She knew that it was useless for her to say anything more. If Su-Yun was determined to not agree to her request, then she would definitely not agree to it. Su-Yun could tell what Cho-Yun was thinking. Cho-Yun, don't make your own decisions. Even if you don't think for yourself, you should think for Guagua, right? What if Guagua finds out that you went to Suang alone? Do you think she won't be worried about you? At that time, she'll make a fuss about finding you. Things will be troublesome. You might not attract much attention if you go to Swang alone. If Guogua also appears in Swang, Green Ghost will be able to sense it even if he's blind. Cho Yun slowly stood up and said calmly, I understand. Su Yun knew that she was unwilling, but due to Guogua's matter, she might be able to control her actions. Cho Yun was about to leave Su Yun's room, when Su Yun called out to her again. Also, Tang Jiu's matter in Ji-Bei seems to have been resolved, but the real problem has just begun. I believe that she must have a lot of things that she needs my help with. Guogua can't leave your side. I said I understand. Cho Yun didn't turn around and walked out of Su Yun's room. Su Yun let out a long sigh. F***ck, can't you let me worry less? It's all Qian Feng's fault. He didn't tell Cho Yun quietly. Cho Yun obviously couldn't sit still. Su Yun could understand that, but who could understand Su Yun? He now truly understood what it meant to be in a terrible fix. Hudong City seemed to be doing well. Wan Qingshuang was the big sister of Hudong City. She had so many capable assistants around her. The police also had Qin Waner, who was a good sister, to support them. The only thing left was to make money. In Ji-Bei, Tang Jiu took over a lot of mess. Although she told Su Yun that he didn't need to worry and that she could handle it herself, Su Yun was 100% sure that she couldn't handle it. The Tang family might still give her face because of her identity, but what about the people outside? Ji-Bei was so big. The Tang family wasn't the only big family there. After all, the provincial capital was the provincial capital. If the head of a big family couldn't mingle with the upper class, it would mean the decline of the family. When the time came, the Tang family would still blame her for being incompetent. They would elect another head or split up the family again. This would happen soon. Tang Jiu had already chosen a date. In a week, she would invite everyone who was related to the Tang family or had business dealings with them. At that time, she would officially announce to the outside world that she was the head of the family. How could she not be troubled? Could Su Yun really sit in Hudong City like nothing had happened and not lend her a hand? Screw me. Su Yun smiled bitterly. Before Su Yun could vent his complaints, Guogua ran in. Dad, you're awake. What did Cho Yun say to you? She didn't say anything. Su Yun touched Guogua's little face. I think you've been playing like crazy for the past few days. You should focus on tomorrow and the day after. School is about to start. Perform well in front of Miss Su. Guogua waved her small hand. You don't have to worry about that. I'm the best student in class now. All the teachers like me. I'm the class monitor, the study committee member, and also the PE class representative. Oh, you're taking on all these positions yourself. How are you going to let your friends survive? Su Yun smiled bitterly. If you keep doing this, your classmates will be afraid of you and alienate you. When Guogua heard this, her face was full of disdain. Dad, you're wrong. Who in the class doesn't know that my family runs a medicinal cuisine restaurant? Who doesn't know that my mother owns 18 medicinal cuisine chain stores? They're all fighting to be friends with me. Children these days were really snobbish. Su Yun looked at Guogua's rich aura with a melancholy expression. He completely understood the meaning of the phrase, rich, let's be friends. Even children knew how to make friends with rich people. This social atmosphere really needed to be improved. How far away were the good traditions of Huaxia's hard work and simple living? Thinking back to the past, words like hardworking, and serving the people were the necessary labels for a good young man to find a partner. Now it was much simpler. It was just 4 words: young and rich. If one couldn't do this, one could only wait to find a black fungus that the rich young masters were tired of playing with and spend the rest of their lives sullenly. Fortunately, Su Yun was now associated with young and rich. There was no need to worry about this anymore. I heard from Tang Jiu that you bought a lot of gifts at the pedestrian street night market in northern Ji. Did everyone get one? Su Yun changed the topic. Was there one for me? Guogua shook her head and grinned. I'm the best gift you can give me. That's right. You're also my biggest trouble. Even though this trouble was getting bigger and bigger, Su Yun still held her in his arms lovingly. Guogua, you know best whether Dad treats you well. When I'm old in the future, don't be unfilial. Dad, Guogua promises that unless you and Mom quickly give birth to a younger brother for me, The most filial person in the world will be me. Guogua's sly eyes flashed. Regarding the issue of having a younger brother, Guogua's attitude was still very positive. Su Yin only felt a petrified feeling rising from the bottom of his feet to the top of his head. Wasn't this development a little too fast? He didn't even dare to imagine what it would be like if he had a son. Guogua, even if your dad has a child, you have to be the most filial person to me. Su Yin couldn't help but sigh. Because Dad promises that my love for you will definitely be more than that of your younger brother who will pop out after who knows how many years. Guogua hugged Su Yun's face and rubbed it a few times. Guogua also loves Dad the most. If my younger brother comes out too late, I won't be his sister. I want to be his little mother. Chapter 192. Seeing that Su Yun was completely shocked, Guogua stopped joking with him. Dad, let's go downstairs. Sister Wan'er brought back an old man. An old man? Su Yun was stunned. He did not believe that Qin Wan'er was that kind of person. How could she have anything to do with an old man? There must be something wrong. He had to go downstairs quickly. The two of them rushed downstairs with their own ulterior motives. Then they were shocked by Qin Wan'er's address of the so-called old man. Dad, you can stay here tonight. There are so many rooms in the hotel. Qin Wan'er said with a little bit of a spoiled child. The middle-aged man whose arm was held by Qin Wan'er smiled. Haha, do you have something to tell me? If you do, I'll consider staying. Dad. Guogua's eyes almost popped out. She exclaimed, Sister Wan'er, you also have a dad? Su Yin also suddenly understood. For so many days he had not heard anything about Qin Wan'er's family. Now that a father suddenly popped out, it was indeed difficult for everyone to accept. Qin Wan'er almost rolled her eyes when she heard Guogua's words. Of course I have a dad. Qin Wan'er's father, Qin Zhongming, could not help laughing. Who is this little girl? She is so smart and so cute. Ruan Qingshuang stepped forward and held Guogua up. She said embarrassedly, Uncle Qin, the child is not sensible. Sorry for making you laugh. No. I like this kind of girl. She is just like Wan'er when she was a child. Qin Zhongming smiled and looked at Ruan Qingshuang again. He could not help but exclaim, I didn't expect that Xiao Ruan is so young and her daughter is so old. It seems that I still have to urge Wan'er to hurry up and get married. Haha. Ruan Qingshuang smiled awkwardly and didn't explain anything. She now regarded Guogua as her own daughter, so she didn't care what others thought. Su Yin whispered to Qin Wan'er, so you were like Guogua when you were little? You're really making your father suffer. Qin Wan'er turned around and glared at Su Yin. You are the one with moral integrity. Because she did not control her voice, Qin Wan'er's voice was a bit loud. As a result, it attracted Qin Zhongming's attention. The 48-year-old Qin Zhongming had been in the government for over 20 years, but he still could not see through the young man in front of him. Wan'er, this is... Qin Zhongming gestured for his daughter to introduce him. Qin Wan'er pouted. Su Yin. Su Yin extended his hand and smiled. Hello, Uncle Qin. I'm this girl's godfather. Because he was afraid that Guogua would complicate their relationship, Su Yin directly explained his relationship with Guogua. Qin Zhongming smiled and nodded. He shook hands with Su Yin and said calmly, Hello, I've heard Wan'er mention you. Haha, seeing you today, you are really young and promising. Uncle Qin, you are the one with an extraordinary temperament. I'm really flattered that you praise us so much, Su Yin said politely. Qin Wan'er did not give them a chance to continue the pleasantries. She urged them to chat while eating. Ruan Qingshuang immediately asked LV Winnie to take them to the room that had been arranged. Since Wan'er's father was here, of course, she had to treat him well. Then she asked Liangshan to cook. Only Su Yun, Ruan Qingshuang, and the other four were at dinner. Chou Yun, Qianfeng, and Fan Shuang did not participate. After all, their identities were special, and they did not want too many people to know. So Su Yin asked LV Winnie to arrange for the food to be sent to the room. After the wine and dishes were served, Qin Wan'er also began to ask questions. Dad, you must have been set up by someone when you were transferred to Hudong City, right? Haha, the organization arranged it, so I have to accept it. There is no such thing as being set up or not. Qin Zhongming also had a knot in his heart. He was directly transferred from Jinjiang's municipal party secretary to Hudong City as the mayor. The area under his jurisdiction became smaller, and his official position also dropped from the head of the city to the next level. Qin Wan'er was a little confused. Dad, I'm afraid there is something wrong with this. This is the first time I've heard of a municipal party secretary being transferred to a smaller city to be the mayor. This is obviously a demotion. Although according to the administrative level, the municipal party secretary and the mayor were equal, after all, there was a difference between those who managed the party committee and those who managed the government. In Huaxia, the party led the government. So the party secretary was the boss, and the mayor could only be ranked second. There was a joke that expressed the relationship between the two very clearly. The male municipal party secretary saw the beautiful female mayor for the first time, so he teased her. The municipal party secretary used to be the mayor. The word worked had a double meaning, and it made many subordinates secretly happy. But the female mayor was not to be outdone. Yes, the secretary was promoted by the mayor. The word promoted made people even more amazed. Qin Zhongming was an experienced official. Of course, he knew what this meant to him. But he did not want his daughter to worry, so he did not say anything. Today was Qin Zhongming's third day in Hudong City, and his power had been completely taken away by the municipal party secretary. Although he still had the mayor's position, he had become the most dispensable person in the office. Qin Zhongming was very clear that this was a show of strength. But he was transferred to a city where he had no other connections except for his daughter. What could he use to fight against the other party? For Qin Zhongming to reach this stage at his age, it looked like he was about to decline and stop preparing for retirement. Therefore, no one would try to get close to him at this time. No one would think that he had any future to promote young people like them. Suyin noticed a slight change on Qin Zhongming's face. He knew at a glance that Qin Zhongming was in a very bad situation. Uncle Qin, although Suyin is not talented, I know some people in Hudong City. If you need my help, just say the word or call, and I will do my best. Suyin smiled. Although Qin Wan'er is not very reliable, she is my good friend. You are her father, so you are my uncle. Qin Zhongming smiled. Now that someone was talking to him like this, he felt very warm. At least he did not feel completely isolated. At least he still had a daughter and a group of her good friends in Hudong City. However, Qin Zhongming was also very clear that they could not help him. After all, they were on different paths. Based on his current situation, he had to hide his relationship with Qin Wan'er. He was afraid that he would drag his daughter down. Uncle Qin, so you are the mayor. Ouch, Mayor Qin. Wan Qingshuang didn't know much about officialdom. She only knew that the mayor was a high-ranking official, so she was at a loss. She had never greeted such people in the officialdom, so she was a little confused for a moment. She stood up as she spoke. Qin Wan'er looked helpless. She quickly pulled Wan Qingshuang to sit down. Sister Qingshuang, what he does in the office has nothing to do with us. He is just my father here. You can call him uncle. You don't need to know what he does. Wan Qingshuang still felt rushed. How can I do that? After all, Uncle Qin is the mayor. You see, I thought I was eating with my family, so I arranged a small room. This sigh. Seeing that the girl was so honest and pure, Qin Zhongming admired her even more. Xiaoruan, don't say that. I am very happy that you arranged it like this. I feel like I can be part of your family. I like this feeling very much. As Shuang'er said, don't call me mayor. I feel uncomfortable hearing it. Just call me Uncle Qin. It sounds nice. Uncle Qin. Wan Qingshuang was not used to it. Sister Wan'er, I call you sister, so I should call you Uncle Qin. But my mother also calls you Uncle Qin. What should I do? I can't call him Grandpa Qin, right? Guogua pouted. I don't think this grandpa is old at all. I don't want to call him Grandpa. This little girl was so sweet that it made people feel good. Qin Zhongming laughed and said, Your name is Guogua, right? I often hear Wan'er talking about you on the phone. How about this? I will give you a privilege. You can call me Old Qin, okay? Guogua thought that it would not be so awkward to call him that. She nodded and said, Okay, Old Qin. Oh, you are so rude. Wan Qingshuang stared at Guogua on the spot. It made her feel that it was too inappropriate. Guogua hurriedly stuck out her tongue. She did not dare to call him that because her mother looked really angry. And even Suyin did not speak for her. Instead, he explained that the child was not sensible and asked old Qin not to mind. But Qin Zhongming did not mind at all. Instead, he felt that he was very happy when Guogua called him that. Sister Qingshuang Suyun, you two don't have to worry about this. I agree to let Guogua call my father old Qin. Qin Wanner said, there is absolutely no disrespect in calling him that. It is a privilege. I called him that when I was a child. You see, when Guogua called him that just now, he was so happy. Hearing Qin Wanner's words, Suyin also understood. Sometimes, this kind of disrespectful address was not because young people were impolite, but because the relationship between the two generations was harmonious. Wan Qingshuang was obviously more conservative. But seeing that Qin Zhongming had no objection and Qin Wan'er had said so, she nodded and agreed. Only then did Guogua feel as if she had been pardoned. She said to Qin Zhongming, Old Qin, you almost got me killed. I thought my mother was angry and I'm going to be spanked again. The little girl's words made everyone convulse with laughter, and the atmosphere during the meal was quite harmonious. Originally, Qin Zhongming wanted to leave after the meal, but everyone's enthusiasm forced him to stay. Chapter 193. Suyin never thought that Qin Zhongming would come to him personally and say that he wanted to have a drink with him and have a heart-to-heart talk. Suyin didn't refuse this request. It wasn't because Qin Zhongming was the mayor. Even if he was a high-ranking official, Suyin would still ignore him. Suyin agreed to have a drink with Qin Zhongming because he was Qin Wanner's father. Now the conditions were good. The medicinal cuisine hotel had everything. There was also a small bar that was specially prepared for guests that was open until 10:30 at night. Although it was now past the business hours, Suyin only needed to snap his fingers, and Dan Jiahao would immediately go to the safe in his security office and take out the key to open the door. Brother Yin, do you have any other orders? Dan Jiahao was dedicated to the medicinal cuisine hotel. He directly stayed here and didn't go home. He didn't fall in love either. He just wanted to learn from Suyin. Over time, Suyun's heart softened for Dan Jiahao. He waved his hand and said, No, you can go to sleep. Okay. Dan Jiahao nodded and said, Brother Yin, call me if you need anything. I'm not far from here. I don't sleep well. I'll wake up when you call me. Go. After Suyin told Dan Jiahao to leave, he invited Qin Zhongming to go in. The small leisure area in the hotel was, of course, not as big as the bar outside. It was a room about 70 square meters. There was a bar in the middle, a circle of chairs, and a few soft sofas and leisure tables. Suyin walked into the bar and said to Qin Zhongming, Uncle Qin, sit anywhere. What do you want to drink? Although I don't know much about bartending, I know a little about it. I'm fine with anything. Beer is fine too. I really can't enjoy those things that you young people drink, like Bloody Maria or Tequila Sunrise. Qin Zhongming laughed. Something simple is fine. People my age like to drink pure things. Suyin took out a bottle of Hennessy VSOP from the wine cabinet behind him, opened the bottle, and poured it into 2 glasses. Then let's drink brandy. It's originally distilled from grapes, and if it's blended, the original taste will be ruined. Uncle Qin, we have the same taste. I don't like blended wine. Qin Zhongming didn't stand on ceremony. He raised his wine cup and lightly clinked it with Suyun's wine cup. Then he tilted his head back and drank it all in one gulp. Suyun was startled. He really couldn't tell. When they were eating in the afternoon, he and Qin Zhongming each poured a glass of white wine. Moreover, it was a 36% low-alcohol wine. Originally, Suyun thought that he couldn't hold his liquor, but he didn't expect him to amaze everyone with a single brilliant feat. Uncle Qin, you can drink well. Suyin poured him another glass of wine. If you have anything to say, just say it. Wan'er and I might bicker sometimes, but to put it bluntly, it's because we're friends so we can joke around. Qin Zhongming originally wanted to pick up the glass and drink another one. But people at his age had a lot of self-control and wouldn't be too impulsive. Qin Zhongming swirled the wine in his glass and asked, Are you really just friends? Friends? Su-yin didn't avoid Qin Zhongming's gaze. He raised his glass and took a sip. He nodded and said, "Yes." "Su-yin, have you ever thought that one or might not think that way?" Qin Zhongming continued to ask. "Maybe girls are more shy about certain things and don't express it easily." "Uncle Qin, I know what you want to say." Su-yin smiled slightly. "You mean you think that the relationship between Wan and me is a bit... how to describe it? Can you use the word ambiguous?" Qin Zhongming didn't answer, nor did he deny it. He had heard the name Su-yin from his daughter before. Every time his daughter talked about Su-yin, she would say something unreliable. However, this unreliable person appeared surprisingly often in his ears. Basically, every time he talked to his daughter on the phone, he would hear his daughter mention Su-yin in recent events. Therefore, before Qin Zhongming met Su-yin, he already knew that the relationship between Su-yin and his daughter was definitely not that of a friend. After meeting Su-yin today, he found that Su-yin wasn't as unreliable as his daughter said. Instead, he gave people a very reliable feeling. There was a saying that women always liked to say the opposite. However, this theory only existed for girls who were in love. Therefore, Qin Zhongming boldly guessed that his daughter had feelings for Su-yin at that moment. However, the existence of Ruan Qingshuang made Qin Zhongming feel that the relationship between the few of them was very subtle and subtle. This made him, as a father, a little worried. Today, he drank this glass of wine with Su-yin face to face in order to know what Su-yin was thinking. "Uncle Qin, I sincerely say that I treat Wan as a close friend. I also think that she sincerely treats me as a close friend. If you think that she likes me, then it must be an illusion." Su-yin smiled helplessly. "That's because you haven't seen her insult me. That's why you think that way." After a while, Qin Zhongming took another sip of wine. "Su-yin, maybe I am overthinking and thinking too much about this matter. However, as a father, I feel that I understand my daughter better than anyone else. Her thoughts, maybe you can't understand, but I can see through them. I am an experienced person. Maybe I don't have as much experience in love as you young people nowadays. However, sometimes, my eyes are quite good." Su-yin smiled and didn't say anything. He continued to pour wine and drink. If he knew that Qin Zhongming was talking to him about this, he definitely wouldn't have followed him to drink. Su-yin really didn't know what Qin Wan'er was thinking? That must be a lie. However, he couldn't admit it. Because if he admitted it, where would Ruan Qingshuang go? Would they still be able to live together in the future? Now, even if Su-yin used his but to think, he knew that Qin Zhongming had seen through their relationship. If he admitted it now and said that Qin Wan'er was really interested in him, he was sure that Qin Zhongming would do anything for his daughter. He would even make it clear in front of Ruan Qingshuang. At this age, for his daughter's happiness, he didn't have the energy to think about whether it would hurt other people's feelings. Therefore, Su-yin couldn't admit it no matter what. In this way, Qin Zhongming wouldn't have the chance to do that, and he would never hurt Ruan Qingshuang's feelings. "Uncle Qin, it is said that there is a generation gap every 3 years. I am afraid that you are 7 or 8 generations ahead of us, right?" Su-yin was still trying to deal with it. "You really can't see what young people are thinking. Qin Wan'er will never like me. Don't think too much." Qin Zhongming knew that Su-yin wouldn't admit it no matter what he said. Unless he could get his daughter to admit it, he had no persuasive evidence. He also smiled and took a sip of wine. "I am old. I am really old." "Uncle Qin, you are not 50 years old yet. If those old men heard what you said, would they still be alive?" Su-yin joked. "With your current physique, I can tell that you're no worse than a 20 to 30-year-old youth." "Su-yin, although I am not really old, I can feel the deterioration of my body's functions. I used to drink a little wine, but now I feel that my liver can't stop working." Qin Zhongming smiled. Since he didn't want to admit it, he didn't need to force him. "Su-yin, I have a presumptuous request. I hope you can agree to it." Su-yin saw that his words were pitiful, and he didn't know how to refuse. Qin Zhongming had spent so many years in the underworld. Before Su-yin could answer, he tossed the question out. "I only have one daughter, and I don't wish to see her sad because of anything. Regardless of whether you two are friends, close friends, or best friends, I hope you can help me take care of her. She is a stubborn child, and I don't know why, but I have a feeling that she will listen to your words a little. Ha ha ha, this is Uncle Qin's only request. Su-yin, you won't refuse me, right? Qin Zhongming had said so earnestly. If Su-yin said it's none of my business, now it would be too disloyal. This kind of thing had to be righteous. Uncle Qin, don't worry. Don't worry, as long as I, Su-yin, am here, I won't let anyone bully one. With your words, Uncle Qin can rest assured. Qin Zhongming took the bottle and poured himself a big glass. He raised his glass to Su-yin and said, Uncle Qin, let's toast. After he finished speaking, he raised his head and drank the glass. Su-yin, as a junior, of course, had to accompany him. He immediately poured himself a glass and followed Qin Zhongming's rhythm. He raised his head and drank. Su-yin was a person who had been through strict alcohol training. There must be no problem at all. Qin Zhongming frowned. He got up and went directly to the bathroom. This really confused Su-yin. Could Qin Weiner's father drink or not? If he couldn't drink, he would have fainted after drinking that glass. If he could drink, then he wouldn't have directly vomited after drinking that glass. Qin Zhongming quickly rinsed his mouth and washed his face. He smiled helplessly and said, I'm sorry you had to see that. I drank too much yesterday, and the glass just now was a little rushed. Haha, it's really embarrassing. Looking at Qin Zhongming's spirit, Su-yin knew that he was not a drunk person. Only then did Su-yin believe that he was not feeling well all day because of yesterday's drinking. Uncle Qin, you are almost 50 years old. Although there are some occasions where you have to drink, you are still a mayor. No one can do anything to you if you don't drink. Qin Zhongming smiled bitterly and said, Su-yin, you may not know about politics. I am a mayor who is just a figurehead. I drank so much yesterday, but I still couldn't get an alliance. If I don't drink, how many months do you think I can stay in Hudong City? Su-yin was slightly shocked. He did not expect Qin Zhongming to be in such big trouble as soon as he took office in Hudong City. Uncle Qin, I don't understand what you are saying. Can you explain it to me? Maybe I can help you. Chapter 194. It turned out that Qin Zhongming had been demoted to be the mayor of Hudong City because of a villain. If Qin Zhongming couldn't achieve anything in a year, he would probably be stuck in Hudong City as a mayor in name only for the rest of his life. Qin Zhongming came to Hudong City with a lot of enthusiasm. His daughter was also here, so he felt that he was not alone. But the result was not what he wanted. Not only did Hudong City's municipal party secretary not give him a good start, but he also gave him a hard time. Qin Zhongming went to the Hudong City government office to report that day, but he was refused entry. It was a difficult time for him to report during the holidays. Most of the staff were on holiday, and only a few staff members were on duty. They did not know anything about him. Qin Zhongming waited for more than 2 hours before he saw the municipal party secretary, Feng Guoqing. In the end, Feng Guoqing said, I have something to do, so I will not accompany you. You should familiarize yourself with the surroundings. After saying that, Feng Guoqing left. Without the approval of the municipal party secretary, he was nothing as a mayor. No one in the government compound knew him. Those who knew his identity only whispered among themselves. Qin Zhongming finally understood that Feng Guoqing was giving him a hard time. He wanted to let him know that Feng Guoqing was from Hudong City. Since that was the case, Qin Zhongming immediately lowered his attitude and called Feng Guoqing. He thought that by doing this, Feng Guoqing would know that he was giving in and would not put too much pressure on him. Unexpectedly, Feng Guoqing pretended that he did not know who he was and hung up the phone. Only then did Qin Zhongming realize that this was not just a show of strength. There must be another reason. After asking around, he found out that Feng Guoqing had worked for the person who had forced him to go to Hudong City. The two of them had a good personal relationship, and Feng Guoqing would listen to whatever that person said. Qin Zhongming knew that Hudong City was not a place to live. Yesterday, when he arrived at the unit, a section chief on duty gave him a few pointers. What he meant was that as a newcomer, he should at least hold a banquet and treat the secretary and all the leaders to a meal. Moreover, it could not be from public funds. For the sake of his future career, Qin Zhongming immediately made arrangements. He even arranged for them to stay at the most expensive hotel in Hudong City. There were 12 people, and the meal cost him more than 16,000 yuan. The food was not worth much, and the standard cost of 380 yuan per person was less than 5,000 yuan in total. The remaining 10,000 yuan was all for the drinks. These people were really ruthless. They drank 14 bottles of red wine that cost more than 800 yuan each. It would be good if money could be used to settle this matter. However, Qin Zhongming did not feel that these people's attitudes towards him had changed even after the dinner ended. In the end, Feng Guoqing left after receiving a call and never returned. Seeing Feng Guoqing leave, the others also left one after another. Because Feng Guoqing didn't say goodbye when he left, this group of people clearly saw that Secretary Feng didn't like Mayor Qin at all. So they all stayed away from him. Qin Zhongming had a fire in his heart that he could not vent. He forced himself to drink all the remaining wine in the bottle, and got drunk in the end. He had not contacted Qin Wan, because he felt that he could not face his daughter at this time. Qin Zhongming went to work early in the morning, but he did not expect to see Feng Guoqing in his office. Feng Guoqing even greeted him with a smile. Qin Zhongming thought that it was because of the meal yesterday. However, he did not expect Feng Guoqing to be hiding a knife in his smile. He asked him to be in charge of the demolition of an old district in Hudong City. It was not easy to demolish an old district these days. Qin Zhongming was not familiar with the place and did not know many people. The cooperation between the various departments was so poor that it gave him a headache. However, this was work after all. Qin Zhongming went to the site personally and found out how difficult it was to demolish the old district. 8 out of 10 of the famous unruly residents in Hudong City were from this district. They all had nothing to do during the National Day holiday, so they all gathered at home. Moreover, there was a local bully who did not care about his life. When he heard that the leader of the demolition office was coming, he immediately took out a kitchen knife and wanted to chop him up. Then someone called the police. When he heard that someone wanted to chop the new mayor, Director Chen of the Public Security Bureau could not sit still. He immediately led a team and set off. Qin Wan'er naturally followed. At this time, Qin Wan'er found out that the new mayor was actually her father. That was why she made an appointment with her father at night to pick him up after work and bring him to the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel. After listening to Qin Zhongming's story, Suyin finally understood why he drank so quickly. It was because he was angry. Anyone who had anger in their heart would not feel good. The municipal party secretary, Feng Guoqing, had gone too far. Sigh. Qin Zhongming sighed. Don't tell Wan'er about this. I don't want her work to be affected because of me. I have thought about it. The demolition work will not be completed in a short time. Once it is not completed, she will have a reason to be dissatisfied with my work. At that time, I am not sure where I will go. Suyin suddenly said, what if the demolition work can be completed smoothly? Qin Zhongming was stunned. I am afraid that can only be imagined. According to what I saw in the morning, it is really difficult. Now the government pays attention to treating people with courtesy. If the network of people is bigger, it may be possible to find someone who can persuade them. But with my current situation, I am afraid that it is impossible to persuade them. Suyin smiled faintly. Uncle Qin, regarding this matter, I'm afraid that there's not a single place in the entire Huaxia Empire that's easy to deal with. There are very few that can be solved by talking nicely. Most of them use other methods. Suyin, what do you mean? Qin Zhongming said and quickly waved his hand. If I do something that violates the policy, I will give Feng Guoqing more leverage. Maybe he is waiting for me to do this. Suyin touched his chin. He did not expect that there would be traps everywhere in the officialdom. After Qin Zhongming said this, he realized that this was really a trap waiting for Qin Zhongming to jump into. If Qin Zhongming dared to forcefully demolish the demolition, Feng Guoqing would definitely stab him in the back. Qin Zhongming smiled bitterly. Suyin, you don't have to worry about this for me. I know what I should do. Although I am in a dilemma now, I will weigh the pros and cons. Even if I am uncomfortable, I will never let Feng Guoqing be happy. Uncle Qin, where is the old demolition area that you mentioned? Can you tell me about it? Maybe I can have someone I know to help me with the work. Suyin did not give up. However, Qin Zhongming still said, Don't waste your effort. I even suspect that the people in the demolition office have received orders. If I don't leave, they won't really mobilize anyone to demolish. Even if you find someone you know, I am afraid it will not be easy to solve. Su-yin grinned and said, Uncle Chin, don't worry. The people I find are definitely not your people. Then you have to promise me that you will never use violence against the people, Qin Zhongming said. He had more or less heard some things about Su-yin from Qin Wan. Naturally, he also knew that Su-yin was not an ordinary person since he could run such a big hotel. Su-yin immediately said, I promise that I will not use violence. I am also a member of the people, so I know what kind of solution the people need. Although Su-yin said so, Su-yin still had his own ideas. If he arranged for someone to persuade them with reason and emotion, or even if he did it himself, it would be good if the problem could be solved as soon as possible, even if he privately paid part of the money for the demolition. However, if this group of people did not appreciate it and put forward more excessive demands, then sorry. Although Su-yin was not a demon or a bad guy, he was definitely not a kind person. He only promised that he would not use violence, but he did not promise that the group of people under him would not use violence. For the people who had reasonable demands, Su-yin must put their interests first. However, for the rogue bastards who wanted to rely on demolition to become rich in a second, Su-yin would not pity them because they were a vulnerable group. Not all vulnerable groups were worthy of pity. Countless things in this society had proven this point. Qin Zhongming was relieved after hearing him say so. He told Su-yin the location. It is a shanty town in Wenhui district. The address is. Upon hearing this place, Su-yin was instantly dumbfounded. Wasn't that the shanty town where Chang and Xiao Fei's family lived? What the hell? Wasn't this too much of a coincidence? Uncle Qin, are you sure this is the address? Are you sure? Su-yin was afraid that he had made a mistake, so he confirmed it again. Qin Zhongming nodded. Of course I'm sure. I just went there today. Why? Do you also know that this place is quite difficult? No. Uncle Qin, you are right. Uncle Qin, if it's this place, then don't worry. 3 days, give me 3 days. I'll find someone to help you persuade them. Su-yin made a promise and said, if I can't do this, then I don't have the face to be Wan Er's best friend. There are many acquaintances in that place. Chang Xiaofei, including Xiaofei's uncle, Peng Gang and so on, all lived in that place. This demolition was targeted at them. First, it was to solve the city's patching problem. Second, it was to give them a better living environment. However, that location was not a prime location, so the demolition fee given was not as good as that of a better place. Although it was not much, once the square meter was increased, it was not a small fee. At least, each family could get an extra 10,000 yuan. Now that the living conditions were better, 10,000 yuan was nothing in the eyes of an ordinary family. However, in the hands of the people who lived in the shanty town all year round, 10,000 yuan was a number that many people could not save in their lifetime. This was not an exaggeration. Even a blind person could see the gap between the rich and the poor. The dust raised by the flying luxury cars would always choke a few drivers who were pedaling the man-powered tricycles. Su-yin already had a basic idea about this matter. He would ask Chang to come over tomorrow to discuss it. If it could be implemented, then he would solve Qin Zhongming's problem as soon as possible. If not, then he would think of another way. Chapter 195. When Su-yin woke up early in the morning, he found that they were all busy with work. Guogua insisted that Ruan Qingshuang and Chou Yan accompany her to Miss Su's house to play. Qin Wan the busy person, was not idle either. Although she was not on duty, the workaholic still went to the station like a few days ago. The hotel could still operate normally without them. After all, the immediate people here could be trusted, and Qian Feng and Fan Shuang were both in the hotel. They were not afraid that anyone would dare to cause trouble. After washing up, Su-yin called Chang and asked him to come to the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel to pick him up and go out to do something. As soon as Su-yin came down from the elevator, Dan Jiahao ran to him and said, Brother Yin, if there's anything you need, just tell me. I'll arrange it immediately. How's the quality education of the security guards you found recently? Su-yin smiled and said, I'll find a few strangers to test them at any time. If anyone dares to be disrespectful to the guests, not only will he be kicked out, you will also be kicked out. Brother Yun, you can rest assured. I guarantee that they are all innocent now, and their minds are filled with the purpose of serving the people. Dan Jiahao stood straight and said, they are ready for Brother Yun's inspection at any time. Su Yin patted him on the shoulder and said, then I'll believe you. Do it well. In the future, don't always think about my inspection. Everything you do is for yourself. Understand? Understood. Dan Jiahao agreed without hesitation. Understood a fart. Su Yin scolded with a smile. At this time, Xiangzi drove his shiny Audi A6 and stopped at the entrance of the hotel with a creak. Su Yin and Dan Jiahao saw the two security guards come forward submissively, opening the door and smiling at them. Su Yin strode forward and greeted Chang with a smile. Brother Yin. He kicked his ass and said, next time when you enter the hotel, drive slowly. Who are you trying to be cool for? After that, Su Yin educated the two security guards and said, recognize that this is one of us. If there's nothing important, don't drive your car to this place. The two security guards and Dan Jiahao were at a loss. Chang smiled bitterly and said, brother, is there anything more important than me picking you up? Don't talk nonsense. Let's go. Take me to a place to drink soy milk and eat fried dough sticks. Su Yin urged Chang, opened the door and got in. Chang didn't delay. Knowing that Brother Yin hadn't eaten breakfast, he immediately returned to the driver's seat. Looking at Chang driving away, the two security guards were at a loss. They looked up at Dan Jiahao and asked, Brother Hao, what do you think is a big matter, and what is a small matter in Brother Yun's heart? Why can't I understand? His own matter isn't a big matter? Dan Jiahao pointed at the two and said speechlessly, can't you two use your brains? I even gave you 2,000 yuan a month. Don't you know what kind of person our Brother Yin is? His own matter isn't a big matter. But if something happens to the people around him, a small matter is still a big matter. Do you understand? Especially our Mr. Ruan's matter, and Mr. Feng's matter. And Officer Qin's matter is also a big matter in Brother Yun's eyes. I understand. The two nodded diligently. It was just that he didn't know whether they really understood or not. Chang took Su Yin to Zhouji soy milk shop to drink the most famous soy milk in Hudong, and eat the crispiest fried dough sticks made by Zhou Wu in Hudong. He knew that Su Yin definitely didn't look for him just for breakfast. He couldn't help but ask, Brother Yin, what are we going to do today? The demolition of your house, Su Yin said as he ate. When Xiangzi heard this, he was also quite resentful. Sai, don't mention it. F***CK. Why is the cost of our demolition 100 yuan cheaper than the cost of their demolition per square meter in the central district of the city? Although the development of the Wenhui district is not as good as the city center, it is still a good location. Although our place is a little rundown, the location is not worse than other places. All we want is the land money, but they won't let us move back. Brother Yin, do you know how much they are compensating us? According to the national average, Hudong City was at the bottom of the third tier and the top of the fourth tier. According to the current property price, if they could move back and have a house to live in, the average price would be about 3,500 yuan. If they couldn't move back, Su Yin estimated that 4,500 yuan would be more appropriate. How much? Su Yin asked. 4,500 yuan. Chang said. The buildings above ground will be subsidized at 150 yuan per square meter. Su Yin's guess was right. This estimate was filtered out after careful consideration, so it shouldn't be too far off. I think this price is okay. It's enough to buy a house. Brother Yin, if we didn't know that the old and middle district in the city gave us 4,600 yuan, and the buildings above ground will be subsidized at 200 yuan, we would accept it. Chang said. But the demolition happened one after the other. How can our land and the buildings above ground be subsidized at 150 yuan per square meter? What Chang said was not unreasonable. 150 yuan per square meter meant 15,000 yuan per square meter. This number was no exaggeration to say that it was an astronomical figure for the people living in shanty town. Of course Chang, who had made a name for himself, did not care. Brother, I Chong, am definitely not someone who lacks money, but I just can't take this lying down. I just feel that it is unfair to the old residents here. I don't want the 150 yuan, but the old residents can't. Look at Grandpa Peng and Grandma Zhao. They should be given more money for their coffins. They have suffered for most of their lives. The money given by the demolition is at most enough to buy a house for their children. At least let them have some money to live in a nursing home. Su Yin certainly understood Chang's thoughts. This was a kind of contradiction. This kind of contradiction was not easy to solve. The country considered the average value, and the compensation given was definitely the most appropriate. There was no doubt about this. However, the country could not consider the situation of every family. Most people's family situation did not reach that average, so it was not impossible to give more appropriately. However, a very small number of people were greedy. No matter how much you gave them, they would not be full. Therefore, this kind of contradiction naturally arose on the issue of demolition, and this kind of contradiction could not be solved with just a few words. Brother Yin, why are you asking this? Chang was startled and suddenly asked. Su Yin did not intend to hide it from him. Do you know who the leader in charge of this matter is? Previously, it was a deputy mayor with the surname Lin. 2 days ago, it was a new mayor with the surname Qin. I think he was just transferred here. Chang said. Yesterday, I heard from Xiao Fei that Mayor Qin went to investigate the site, but he was chased out with a kitchen knife by San Pang Zi. This matter is not easy for him to handle. After all, he is new and unfamiliar with the place. He does not have any connections. He will definitely not be able to handle this matter well. I am puzzled. Do you think Secretary Feng's brain is flooded with water? Arranging for him to handle this matter is obviously to waste time with us. Su Yin smiled slightly. That's right. Mayor Qin's only connections in Hudong City are us. If we don't help him, I'm afraid he can only waste time, and this demolition matter will be difficult to handle. Wait. Chang's mind was in a mess. He looked confused. Brother Yin, are you saying that Mayor Qin is related to us? We don't know him, right? Su Yin just looked at Chang, smiling without saying anything. Chang suddenly realized. Could it be that Mayor Qin is related to Officer Qin? Yes, he is Qin Wan'er's father. Su Yin finished his words and drank the last of his soy milk. Xiangzi exclaimed. Ouch, this is really a flood rushing to the Dragon King Temple. Isn't this too much of a coincidence? Originally, he was planning to resist to the end. However, if Officer Qin's father asked, he could not refuse. That was Brother Yun's connection. Even if God lent Chang 3 times the courage, Chang would not dare to say no. Brother Yin, you don't have to say anything. I know what you mean. Although Chang was unwilling, he knew what was more important. He could be where he was today all because of Brother Yin. Otherwise, he would still be a hooligan driving a scrapped Shenlong Fukang, not the Hudong Chang who drove an Audi today. Su Yin shook his head. You don't understand what I mean. I'm not asking you to do anything. I also know that Grandpa Peng and Grandma Zhao don't have it easy. I want you to help coordinate this matter. Try your best to make some concessions. We'll do the same for the other places. However, if there are any excessive requests, you'll have to step in. Okay, Brother Yin, I know you are righteous. With your words, I will say it here today. If we don't give face to Mayor Qin, we are not giving face to you. Chang said, shall we go now? I called you here to ask you to take me there. Su Yin smiled. As for whether they can agree to not lower than other places' subsidies, I will talk to Mayor Qin. You don't have to worry about this. Chang nodded. Brother Yin, I will rest assured if you are in charge of this matter. Let's go, Su Yin said and stood up. Chang put the change directly on the table and shouted to the boss, Fifth Bro Zhou. Fifth Bro, I put the money on the table for you. Fifth Bro Zhou replied politely. Don't be so polite with me. It's not much. You don't have to pay. Qiangzi drove Su Yin to his old house with ease. Although Qiangzi was doing well now and had bought a house outside, his parents still felt that they were used to living in the old place, and they didn't want to climb the stairs. Besides, they needed electricity and gas to boil water and cook food upstairs. They couldn't light a stove, which would cost a lot of money. The older generation was used to being thrifty and couldn't bear to spend so much money. Now this place was filled with banners hanging all over the streets. They were all slogans to cooperate with the work. From afar, Su-yin saw an old Passat with the city council's entrance pass in between the center console and the windshield. Soon, a familiar figure appeared in Su-yin's line of sight. It was Qin Zhongming. Su-yin did not expect him to be so conscientious and come again. Chapter 196. Soon, a burly man came out of the alley with a kitchen knife in his hand. He glared at all the onlookers with a fierce look on his face. Everyone be my witness. I've already warned this dog official. If he dares to talk nonsense with me again, I'll chop him up with a knife. I'll make it clear that I won't move without 1 million cash. Qin Zhongming looked embarrassed. Although he was the mayor of a city, there was no one around to help him except for the driver. Moreover, the driver should be Feng Guiqing's man. Even in this situation, he didn't get out of the car. He just waited quietly in the driver's seat to drive the embarrassed Qin Zhongming back home. Su-yin waved his hand. Of course, Chang knew what to do. He stepped on the accelerator, and the Audi rushed into the crowd of onlookers. The crowd was so shocked that they took a few steps back. After Chang stopped the car, he walked out directly. There was a lot of discussion in the crowd. Look at how promising Qiangzi is now. He's already opened 4 circles. That's right. It's all thanks to Uncle Chun and Aunt Chen. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to do so well when he was a child. Don't talk nonsense now. Don't let Chang hear you. He's now a big shot. You can't afford to offend him. Su-yin smiled slightly. He didn't expect that Chang was already a famous person in their shanty town. He could stir up 1,000 waves just by standing in front of everyone. He was really not an ordinary person. Seeing that Chang's appearance had calmed the crowd, Su-yin also got out of the car and walked straight to Qin Zhongming. Qin Zhongming was stunned. Su-yin, why are you here? Su-yin smiled. Uncle Qin, I didn't expect you to be here. Su-yin pointed to Changzi and said, this brother of mine is from here. I want him to help me clear the air. Of course, I've also learned some things from him, and I'd like to tell you about it. Qin Zhongming nodded and walked to the side with Su-yin. Su-yin took out a Chenghua cigarette and handed it to Qin Zhongming. Then he said, Uncle Qin, I heard that the demolition fee here is 150 yuan lower than the demolition fee of the previous old district. It's more than 1 square meter. It's a lot of money. There's such a thing? Qin Zhongming was stunned. He had asked Feng Guiqing before, but Feng Guiqing said that the price was the same in the whole city. There was absolutely no difference. It turned out that there was something fishy about this matter. Although it was only a loss of 150 yuan, the difficulty of this job was much higher. In Chang's words, this was not a matter of money at all. Sometimes, people just wanted to fight for their pride. When Chang saw that Su-yin was talking to Mayor Qin, he swaggered over to the fat man with the kitchen knife. Ouch. Brother Chang, you're a rare guest now. What wind blew you here? The fat man threw the kitchen knife aside, and quickly took out a wrinkled Hongtashan cigarette from his pocket. Chang, when are you going to help me? Qiangzi pushed the Hong Pagoda mountain in front of him away with one hand. He took out a box of Su cigarettes and lit one for himself. Then he threw the whole box to the fat man in front of him and said indifferently, smoke this. Now that I'm used to smoking this, I can't enjoy the taste of Hong Pagoda mountain anymore. With a big smile on his face, the fat man quickly took out his lighter and lit it for Changzi. Then he also took out a pack of cigarettes that cost 50 yuan and lit it. Only then did he carefully return it to Changzi. Chang waved his hand. Take it. I still have 2 more in my car. Hee, thank you, Brother Chang. The fat man quickly took back the cigarette. He was very happy. Brother Chang, seriously, let me follow you. At this moment, the onlookers were interested. They all wanted to know if Chen Chang would pull in their old neighbors after he became rich. If he agreed, then they would definitely rely on his connections and ask him for help. Regardless of whether it was an adult or a young man, they all wanted to ask Chen Chang to help them. Qiangzi looked him up and down and sighed. Third fatty, why haven't you made any progress after so many years? What kind of society are you in? You still use a kitchen knife? Do you know what they use now? This fat man was the one who used a kitchen knife yesterday. He was taken out by the police station to be recorded, and then released. After all, he didn't do anything serious. There was also the special factor of demolition. Third Fatty's fat head shook like a rattledrum. I don't know. Chong stretched out his hand and made a sign with his thumb and index finger. He then pointed at Third Fatty and said softly, Pa. Third Fatty trembled. Only then did he know what Chong meant. It's enough to make your head explode. Chong said coldly. Why are you still playing with a broken kitchen knife? Don't you want to lose face as an old neighbor? Brother Chong is right. Third Fatty hurriedly said. Although he was older than Chong, he definitely didn't dare to call him Chong or Chin Chong like before. He called him Brother Chong. Society was like this. Whoever had the ability was the brother, and whoever had the money was the master. Third Fatty, do you know who that person is? It's the mayor. You dare to chop the mayor? I think you're tired of living, right? Xiangzi said. Do you think you're the king of heaven because the police didn't punish you when you were brought in yesterday? If you don't believe me, you can try. When you're brought in again, don't even think about coming out. Third Fatty was the kind of person with a one-track mind. Otherwise, he wouldn't have done such a thing. When he heard Chong's words, his face became stern. Brother Chong, don't scare me with this. I'm really not afraid. Isn't this mayor just a newcomer? And at first glance, I can tell that he's the one being pushed out to take the blame. Who can't see this? Don't think I'm stupid. Chong saw that he couldn't scare Third Fatty, so he changed his method. Third Fatty, do you know what's the most important thing in society? If you want to work for me, you can't even figure this out? Third Fatty shook his head. He didn't know what Chong wanted to say. Even if Mayor Chin is the one being pushed out, he's still a spring. What's a spring? If you're strong, he's stronger. If you're weak, he's weak. Chong said. They all know this, so they don't play tough with us. Instead, you don't use your brain and play tough with them? If you're not stupid, then what are you? Third Fatty was fooled by Chong. He frowned and said, Then what do you think we should do? Seeing that the most hot-headed person in Shantytown had no idea what to do, everyone else also spoke up. They treated Chong as their backbone. After all, Chong was doing the best. A group of people surrounded Chong and asked him what they should do. Chong pointed at Su Yun, who was talking to Mayor Chin not far away, and said to everyone, See, I can get to where I am today because of my big brother. I told him about this matter today, and he said that he'll help us settle it. We'll pay the same price for the demolition of other places. We won't lose out. So, everyone has no objections, right? Hearing this, everyone felt comfortable. Everyone was equal. No one would lose out. No one could say anything. Although most people thought so, there were still some people who didn't think so. Third Fatty was a little unhappy after hearing this. He stopped calling Chin Haodong brother and said directly, Chong, did you get any benefits from Chin Haodong? Why are you speaking for them? Chong heard Third Fatty's unfriendly tone and pulled a long face. Third Fatty, be careful with your words. Don't King slander me. Seeing that Chong was about to get angry, Third Fatty also softened. After all, he didn't dare to do anything to Chong now. Although he was a little stubborn, he was not that stupid. At this time, Su Yun seemed to have finished talking with Qin Zhongming. He turned around and walked to the front of the Audi. He shouted in a low but penetrating voice, Chong. Chong immediately walked out of the crowd and ran over. Brother Yin, what's wrong? I've already talked to Mayor Qin about this issue. He doesn't know the price of the demolition here compared to other places. He just came to Hudong City, so there are some things that he doesn't know. Su Yun's words were not only for Chong, but also for everyone. When Mayor Qin goes back and figures this out, he promised that he will not harm the interests of the people. So I hope that you can wait for his good news. Also, all of you should adjust your emotions. Don't think that he's malicious. He's here to serve the people, not to make trouble for you. Seeing that Su Yun had finished speaking, Chong added loudly, Did you all hear that? Mayor Qin is not here to make trouble. He's here to help us. How about this? Everyone listen to me. If they give us the same price as them, Then we'll cooperate with them. Everyone will happily take the money to buy a big house. Why not? Su Yun turned around and gestured for Qin Zhongming to leave first. Qin Zhongming also urged the driver to go back. He had to find Feng Guoqing and figure out the situation. Feng Guoqing didn't ask him to do work, but set a trap for him. Seeing that Qin Zhongming's car had left, Third Fatty immediately shouted, "Chong, how much money did Qin Zhongming give you? Why are you standing here and speaking up for him? You ungrateful thing, did your conscience get eaten by a dog? I'm telling you, even if it's the same price as other places, I'm not leaving. I want 1 million. Otherwise, no one can make me leave, unless I'm dead." Chong's eyes flashed coldly. "Third Fatty, your house and yard are only 120 square meters. If we calculate according to the high price, your house is only worth 600,000 yuan. You want 1 million? Do you think everyone is a fool? Besides, 600,000 yuan is enough for you to find a place to buy a house of 100 square meters. It's much better than the place you're living in now. Did you see that? He's already speaking up for them. Chong has become a lackey. I'll go back and tell Uncle Chun and Aunt Chun." Third Fatty shouted. Chong stared at him. "Third Fatty, do you really think I don't dare to do anything to you? Fine, you said it yourself. Unless you're dead, you won't leave. Then you can try. Let's see if your skin is thicker, or my wrist is harder on this tiny piece of land of mine." Chapter 197. After Qin Zhongming returned to the municipal party committee and found Secretary Feng Guoqing, he no longer showed any signs of weakness. Although he knew that Feng Guoqing wasn't going to let him off easily, he didn't know that Feng Guoqing would play such a joke on him. This time, Qin Zhongming pushed the door open and entered. He knew that if he knocked, he would definitely get a reply of "wait a minute." So he decided to just barge in. At that moment, Feng Guoqing was sitting at his desk, talking passionately with a beautiful girl who had just entered the publicity department this year. Seeing Qin Zhongming barge in, Feng Guoqing's face naturally darkened, and he lost all interest in the conversation. "Secretary Feng, Mayor Qin, since you have something to do, I'll leave first." The girl saw the two men's dark faces and quickly left the scene. She didn't want to hear about the argument between the two leaders of Hudong City. The less one knew, the better. The moment the office door closed, Qin Zhongming said bluntly, "Secretary Feng, if you have time, I think I should talk to you." Feng Guoqing frowned. He didn't expect that Qin Zhongming, a pushover, would dare to speak to him like that today. The two of them were about the same age, and their experiences were similar. So, if they really went against each other, neither of them was afraid of the other. "Mayor Qin, have you dealt with the demolition matter? If you haven't, I don't think you have time to talk to me." Qin Zhongming frowned. He dared say that if he were 20 years younger, he wouldn't hesitate to punch Feng Guoqing's teeth out. How dare he play dumb with me at this time? Did he really think that he was a newbie who had just started his career? "Secretary Feng, I don't care what you want to do to me, but you better not joke about the people's interests." Qin Zhongming didn't want to beat around the bush with him, so he went straight to the point. "I know that you didn't intend to let me finish the demolition smoothly from the beginning, but I didn't expect that you wouldn't even tell me the truth. This will cause a more radical reaction from the people. You're a dignified municipal party secretary. Don't you know this?" The corner of Feng Guoqing's eyes twitched. He originally thought that Qin Zhongming would beat around the bush so that he could avoid this topic. After being in the officialdom for more than 20 years, if he didn't have the ability to beat around the bush, he wouldn't be able to sit in this position. But who would have thought that Qin Zhongming would go straight to the point? Feng Guoqing couldn't ignore it, but it wasn't that easy to suppress Qin Zhongming. "Mayor Qin, although we just started working together, I know your experience. I know you used to be the secretary of a big city in Jinan, so I think you should understand why I did this. If you just wanted to show me who's boss, then you've already done it. You should know when to stop, and I won't face it head on." Qin Zhongming had already steeled his heart. Today he was going to open the sky window and speak frankly. Feng Guoqing sneered. "If you say so, then aren't you being too disunited? Mayor Qin, I'm not the kind of person you described me to be. Please don't judge a gentleman by your own standards. Think about it. Can the location of the Wenhui district be compared to the central district? When you buy things, you pay attention to the comparison of goods. Even if it's the same juice, there's still 100% pure juice and 50% pure juice. Don't you think that makes sense? When Qin Zhongming heard that he was going to beat around the bush, he once again pulled him back. Secretary Feng, I'm not talking about juice or cola. I'm talking about the mentality of the people. The entire Hudong city is only so big, and the market price of housing in each district is about the same. There's not much difference at all. They're all old districts, and we have to treat them equally when we demolish them. In my opinion, that location is also a very good location in the Wenhui district, and the people can't move back. If we still treat them differently, there will definitely be chaos. Feng Guoqing glared at him. Are you threatening me? Qin Zhongming. If you can't even do this well, if you can't even appease the emotions of the people, then what's the point of having you as the mayor? Is that all you've got? I thought that someone who used to be the municipal party secretary of Jinnan City would be very capable, but it turns out that you're not even as capable as Deputy Mayor Lin, who was originally in charge of this matter. Humph, in my opinion, you might as well give up your position to him. Secretary Feng, I believe that if you had the power, you would have done so long ago. Qin Zhongming's voice also turned cold. Feng Guoqing waved his hand. I've only handed this matter to you for 3 days, and you're already making demands? Wait a few days, I still have other things to do. You can leave first. After that, Feng Guoqing picked up the phone on the table. Qin Zhongming reacted quickly and directly pulled the phone cord. Secretary Feng, if you don't explain this matter clearly to me today, I won't leave. You have other things to do, and you have to do this matter as well. Then we'll do it one by one. Mayor Qin, didn't I already say that it's not the same area, so you can't give me a price? Feng Guoqing's voice was a little agitated. The land will be increased by 100 yuan per square meter, and the buildings on the ground will be increased by 50 yuan per square meter. This matter will be easily solved, Qin Zhongming said. This morning, Su Yun had already agreed to help him, but the matter of the demolition subsidy was something he had to solve, so he felt that he could not easily give in. Feng Guoqing immediately raised his voice. 100 yuan? 50 yuan? Humph. Do you think that the municipal finance money is in your bank account? Qin Zhongming. Have you ever considered that there are nearly 1,000 households? If each family is given an additional 10,000 yuan, then it will break 8 figures. Qin Zhongming stared at Feng Guoqing and said, more than 10 million yuan is nothing to a city, but 10,000 yuan is the savings of every household in the slums for most of their lives. Feng Guoqing, if you don't even understand this, then you really don't deserve to sit in the position of municipal party secretary. I really want to know how much money you spent to get to where you are today. Get out of here. Feng Guoqing immediately slammed the table. He was too emotional. This was his weakness, and he was afraid that someone would poke at it. He was able to get to where he was today because he had spent a lot of money. Fortunately, after he was transferred to Hudong City, he started to reclaim his wealth. Moreover, it felt good to be the boss. He could do whatever he wanted. He was the local tyrant of Hudong City. Money and women were sent to his house every day. In this day and age, people with a bit of status wanted to be in contact with the leaders. Therefore, even if there was nothing to ask of him, there would still be people who would feel honored to be in contact with him. Of course, people like Su Yun were an exception. Qin Zhongming knew that it was meaningless for him to continue like this. He turned around and slammed the door. If he could not solve the demolition subsidy issue, he would not have the face to appear in front of the people. He really did not know how to tell Su Yun about this. Seeing Qin Zhongming leave, Feng Guoqing glared at the door and said in his heart, I want to make things difficult for you. Make things difficult for you. If I allow you to complete this task smoothly, then my surname is not Feng. I will follow your surname. Su Yun and Chang did not leave Shantytown for the whole day. They went door to do their work. Chang confidently promised each family that the city would not treat them badly. As long as others had the same price, they would definitely have it too. He was not willing to give them a discount. However, at the same time, if anyone wanted to ask for more, they would have to ask if he was willing. Under this carrot and stick approach, More than 90% of the residents in Shantytown chose to listen to Chang. Firstly, they felt that Chang's words made sense. Secondly, it was because Chang was capable and his words were very effective in this area. If it were not for Chang, it would be difficult for Qin Zhongming to satisfy these people even if he offered the same price. The people were particular about whose face they were looking at. Of course, there were also those who were stubborn to the end. The group led by Sanpeng Zi came to Chang's parents' house in groups. Chang's parents' house was not big to begin with. With so many people, it was full of people. Sanpeng Zi took the lead and said, "Uncle Chen, Aunt Chen, Chang is now the official's lackey. He is forcing us to die." With someone taking the lead, the group of rascals started to make a ruckus. Chang's parents were different from Chang. They were honest people. When they saw so many people, they were scared. Although they felt that what their son said to Su Yun next to him was reasonable, they were still stunned. Chang was anxious. If there were so many people in the past, he would definitely give in. However, who was Chang now? Walking on the streets of Hudong City, the number of people who dared to stare at him could be counted with one hand. "Sanpeng Zi, you want to be unreasonable with me, right? I treated you as an old neighbor and gave you face. Now you treat me like a sick cat?" Xiangzi's face turned green. Seeing that third fatty had brought people to scare his parents, he as a man, naturally couldn't sit still. Sanpeng Zi pointed at Su Yun recklessly and scolded, "This son of a bitch is the official's lackey. He must have bribed Chang. Chang's family must be able to get a few million. And then he wants us to get so little money that isn't even enough to buy a house. Why? Isn't that right, everyone? We can't agree to their requests so easily." Chang was anxious. He stepped forward and grabbed Sanpeng Zi's collar. "You are King spreading rumors. Be careful or I won't go easy on you." "See, I was right. You are anxious." Sanpeng Zi snorted. He was not afraid. They were all old neighbors. He did not believe that Chang would dare to do anything to him. If he did not get the 1 million, he would not give in. Chang looked back at Su Yun. He would not do anything if he did not get the official's approval. Although Su Yun had promised Qin Zhongming that he would not use violence, that was for most of the weak people. He would not be so particular about rascals like Sanpeng Zi. Chapter 198. Sanpeng Zi was dragged out by the crowd, but he still didn't give up. He shouted at the top of his lungs, "Chen Chang, don't think that everyone is afraid of you just because you made a name for yourself outside. If you dare to go against me, then I will come to your house every day to make trouble. If you have the ability, then kill me. If you can't kill me, then I will kill you." With this shouting, almost all the people nearby gathered around Chang's house. Of course, Chang couldn't take this lying down. He looked at Su Yun again, and Su Yun smiled and nodded, tacitly agreeing that he could do whatever he wanted. As long as he was a man, he couldn't swallow his anger at this time. Chang strode out of the door, pointed at Sanpeng Zi, and said, "Today, I will teach you how to write the word death." Sanpeng Zi went home to sharpen a kitchen knife, and Chang took out his mobile phone and dialed a few numbers. Seeing that a big battle was about to begin, the Huaxia people's habit of watching a good show was reflected in all the onlookers. Everyone wanted to know if Chang, who had made a name for himself outside, could deal with the crazy Sanpeng Zi. Sanpeng Zi appeared again with a kitchen knife, and his threatening posture showed that he wanted to chop Chang up. But to put it bluntly, he was just gesturing and he wouldn't really do it. After all, there were people in the middle who would stop him. However, more than 10 minutes later, more than 20 cars of different sizes came one after another. After the people in the cars came out, there were more than 100 people. And each of them was a valiant young man with dragon tattoos and tiger tattoos. Although they all had a fierce face in front of Chang, they all called him Brother Chang. Chang's underlings and the 3 tigers of Southern City were sent to help him. Gathering 100 people was simply a piece of cake. When most of the people had arrived and the sky had darkened, Chang made a gesture, and everyone took out their weapons. Iron rods, steel pipes, machetes, they were all real weapons that gleamed with a cold light. Although Sanpeng Zi was rude and unreasonable, that was only in front of ordinary people. In the face of such a group of strong thugs, He was already considered a man if his legs didn't go soft. Even so, San Pengzi was still stubborn. Chang, the two of us have been playing together since we were young. Are you really going to lay your hands on me? Chang glared at him. Don't King try to get close to me. The clay figurines that I made when I was young were all smashed by you, bastard. Today, I will settle the old and new scores with you. Brothers, do you see this damn fatty? Beat him to death. With this order, hundreds of people swarmed forward. The onlookers had never seen such a scene, so they all retreated, leaving San Pengzi in the middle. Seeing this, San Pengzi directly threw away his kitchen knife and shouted, "Fight me if you have the ability. You are not a man with a knife." This group of people ignored him. The leader, Xiao Jie, directly smashed San Pengzi's face with a stick, directly smashing San Pengzi's nose and two of his front teeth. A group of people punched, kicked, and hit San Pengzi with sticks. It didn't take 100 people at all. Only 7 or 8 people attacked. 2 minutes later, San Pengzi's face was already badly mutilated. It was difficult for him to breathe. Those brothers with machetes didn't even have time to attack. Seeing this, San Pengzi's family hurriedly came forward to beg for mercy. Not to mention his wife, even his parents wanted to kneel down to Chang. After all, Chang was not a black-hearted person. Seeing that the uncle and aunt had begged, he hurriedly helped them up and then ordered his men to stop. It's not that I'm black-hearted. He asked for it. Chang said, you take him to the hospital. If he still has a problem with the demolition, then don't blame me for being hostile. After that, Chang took out 2,000 yuan from his wallet and handed it to San Pengzi's father. San Pengzi's father didn't dare to accept it. Chang knew that he had scared the old man, so he directly gave it to San Pengzi's wife. The family quickly took San Pengzi away. Xiao Jie clapped his hands and shouted to the onlookers, see? Whoever doesn't give face to Brother Chang will end up like this. The onlookers were timid. They secretly felt lucky that they had never offended Chang. Finally, they saw Chang's ability. He was really at the level of a big brother. Chang stepped forward and kicked him. What are you shouting for? Do you know how many uncles and aunts here have watched me grow up? You have no respect for your elders. Xiao Jie hurriedly bowed and apologized. Uncles and aunts, I'm sorry. I don't know how to behave. Please forgive me if I said something wrong. Chang waved his hand to signal him to stop farting. He took out all the money in his wallet and said, brothers, you've worked hard. You take them to a place to eat and wash their feet. If it's not enough, you pay for it first. I'll reimburse you later. Xiao Jie took them away directly. Of course, he didn't want money. Brother Chang, you're slapping me in the face, right? If we help you for such a small thing, then we don't need to King work in the future. Ha ha ha, Brother Chang, let's go. If you need anything, just call me. I promise to be the first to arrive. Looking at more than 20 cars leaving one after another, Chang smiled helplessly and with relief. It felt good to have brothers. Today he had dealt with San Pengzi. He wanted to see who dared to disrespect his parents in the future. Thinking of his parents, Chang hurriedly went back into the house. Only then did he find that Su Yin was chatting with his parents very well. Su Yin was talking about Chang's good performance. He talked about how hard he was running the medicinal cuisine restaurant, and how he would be filial to them in the future. He also asked them to move to the building above Chang's house as soon as possible to give Chang a chance to perform. He also wanted to urge Chang to find a wife and start a family as soon as possible so that they could have grandchildren. His parents were so happy that they couldn't close their mouths. Chang admired him. He didn't expect that Brother Yun could chat with his old-fashioned parents. When Chang's mother saw her son go back into the house, she hurriedly checked if he was okay. Seeing that Chang was fine, she was relieved. Chang, you must learn more from Su Yin in the future. Chang's father pointed at his son and said, look at how outstanding Su Yin is. Look. Sai, your mother must have burned incense to have such a friend. Haven't I been learning from Brother Yin? When I first said that I would follow Brother Yin, you all scolded me for not learning bad things. Look, I have a car, a house, and a career. Isn't that all thanks to Brother Yin? Chang said, don't worry about me. Just like Brother Yin said, Hurry up and pack your things. Tomorrow, I will bring you to the house I bought. It's 138 square meters. Even if I get married, our family will be able to live together. I will be the first to hand over the house. Mayor Chin is a good person. We the people must understand him and support the government's work. Chang's father nodded and said, Yes, yes, yes. We support the government's work. We support. Chang's mother asked him, Chang, you said you want to get married? Did you find her? What kind of work is she doing? Where is she from? Stop. Chang hurriedly said, How about this? You two can pack up at home. Brother Yin and I still have things to do. We will leave first. Su Yin also stood up. It was already 6 o'clock. Most of the family had probably gone back. Wan Qingshuang must be waiting for him to go back for dinner. Uncle, Auntie, just listen to Chang's arrangements. He will follow me, so you can rest assured. If he dares to not be filial to you, I will be the first to teach him a lesson. Chang's father was unwilling. He grabbed Su Yun's hand and stared at Chang. You are such an insensible child. What time is it? You still want to leave? Even if you go anywhere, you still have to eat. You are already at home, and you still want to drive the guests out? I have raised you for so many years in vain. How can you be so insensible? I'll look at my brain. I will go and cook now. Chang's mother hurriedly said, My dear father and mother, can the two of you stop being so busy? Will you be able to replicate Big Brother Yun's craftsmanship? What is he opening? Medicinal cuisine chain restaurants. I don't even like the food you make. Do you think he will like it? Chang was speechless. Don't worry about what we eat, okay? Really, I won't delay things. I still have to go back to the restaurant to check on the business. Su Yin smiled. Uncle, Auntie, I am not as picky as Chang. I like to eat home-cooked food, but I really have to go back today. I really have something to do. If you have time, you can go to my place to eat medicinal cuisine. There are 18 chain restaurants in Hudong. You can order anywhere. Hee, don't be afraid to spend money. Put it on Chang's account. He is not short of money now. Chang patted his chest. Of course. In the future, even if you eat sea cucumber and abalone every day, I can still afford to feed my son. After saying goodbye, Chang drove Su Yin out of shanty town. Su Yin directly called Qin Zhongming and asked where he was. He wanted to tell Qin Zhongming that Chang had settled the residents of shanty town and asked Qin Zhongming how it was going. Qin Zhongming told Su Yin about a restaurant and asked him to go there. Su Yin said that it was better to go to the hotel directly, but Qin Zhongming refused. He said that he was really not in the mood and did not want to face his daughter in this state. Su Yin understood that this matter was definitely not going well. After Chang and Su Yin arrived at the restaurant Qin Zhongming mentioned, they found that it was just opposite the big medicinal cuisine branch that Dan Hongning and Kong Zhong invested in. They directly invited Qin Zhongming to their own restaurant across the street. When Dan Hongning and Kong Zhong heard that the store manager called to say that Brother Yin had come, they immediately called Lu Feng and drove directly there. At this time, Qin Zhongming found out that all the ancestral medicinal cuisine restaurants in Hudong City were branches of Su Yun's. He could not help but praise Su Yun and the other young people's limitless future. Soon, the three tigers of Nanqing rushed over. They shouted for a bigger table and treated Qin Zhongming as a guest, because they felt that Su Yun's friends were not simple. Later, when they found out that he was police officer Qin's father, they were even more polite and did not dare to neglect him. After all, police officer Qin had helped them a lot in many things. Chapter 199. Chang didn't seem to notice the unnatural expression on Qin Zhongming's face. He excitedly introduced him to the three tigers. Do you know what Officer Qin's father does? Let me tell you, the new mayor of Hudong City is Uncle Qin. Ah. The three tigers were so surprised that their jaws almost dropped. Qin Zhongming smiled. I'm very happy to meet so many friends of yours. Knowing that Wan is under your care in Hudong City, I feel more at ease. Mayor Qin, what are you talking about? We are indebted to Officer Qin for taking care of us. We will need you to take care of us in the future. Dan Hongning hurriedly said. Oh, you see, this is the best we can do. Please don't mind. Su-yin waved his hand and said to the three, "You don't have to be so polite. Uncle Chin doesn't like to put on airs, so you don't have to flatter him here. If you want to make the atmosphere official, then get out of here as soon as possible." The three of them just chuckled and didn't say any more words on the surface. "Mayor Chin, I've taken care of everything for you today," Chang couldn't help but say proudly. "My family has been there for a long time, so the neighbors give us face. Besides, you promised to give us the same treatment, so we don't have any objections. Don't worry, as long as you say you can hand over the key, I will be the first to take the lead. Tomorrow, I will ask my parents to move out." Speaking of business, Qin Zhongming frowned. "Today, I reported the matter of the demolition price to Secretary Feng. Perhaps he didn't want me to solve the problem so quickly, so he didn't say anything. So about the demolition subsidy. Mayor Qin, we are not joking about this. Chang's smile disappeared. If the price was lower than other places, he was afraid that he wouldn't have the face to talk to the neighbors. Chang was a person who cared about his reputation. If he really had 10 or 20 million yuan, he wouldn't ask for it. But the problem was that he didn't. This was difficult. Today he promised to give everyone the same amount of money. If he said no tomorrow, wouldn't he be slapping his own face? "Uncle Qin, it looks like Secretary Feng isn't going to let you off easily." Su-yin smiled faintly. "If the demolition price is too low, I'm afraid it won't work. The public's will also needs to be measured. Secretary Feng is completely ignoring the public's will by doing this." Qin Zhongming let out a long sigh. "I've already fallen out with him today, but he's determined to make me go against the will of the people. Now I have no choice but to drag this out. I asked you to vouch for the masses, but I couldn't do it. I really feel bad about this." Chang looked embarrassed. "You don't have to feel bad about it. If it really doesn't work, then I'll tear off my face and talk to her again?" "I don't agree with this. Su-yin." Although Su-yin promised that if Chang spoke up, everyone would give in because of his deterrence this evening, but the consequence was that he was unpopular. Not only would Qin Zhongming not get the public's will, but Chang and his family would also be too ashamed to face their old neighbors. Qin Zhongming also knew that if he continued to insist, then it would really be too much, so he also agreed with Su-yin's idea. "Then what should we do?" Chang looked at him blankly. "Are we really going to drag this out? Are we not going to demolish? If we don't demolish, I won't be able to keep my face, and Secretary Qin won't be able to answer to him. It's better that I don't meet those old neighbors in the future." Su-yin shook his head. "You're just saying this out of anger. Chang, we have already done our best on this matter. Now the one who is making things difficult for us is the municipal party secretary, Feng Guoqing. So the breakthrough must be from him." Chang was dumbfounded. Going against the municipal party secretary? Then, do you really not plan to stay in Hudong in the future? Qin Zhongming did not expect Su-yin to be so bold. He opened his mouth to go against Feng Guoqing. This was something he never thought he would say. However, although Su-yin was capable, it was definitely not a simple matter to go against the secretary of a city. Sometimes, the horror of power was unexplainable. "Brother Yin, this is not a joke. Secretary Feng is not like Jin Biao. We really can't touch him." Dan Hongning also knew the seriousness of the matter. Kong Zhong nodded. "Old Dan is right. We can't go against him head-on." Lu Feng stared at the two of them. "Are you two stupid? How can Brother Yin not know about this matter? When did Brother Yin say that he wants to go against him head-on? Why don't you use your brains? Do you really think that Brother Yin doesn't know what you are thinking?" After that, there was a moment of silence. Lu Feng stared at Su-yin, hoping that he could come up with a perfect countermeasure to shock them. After careful consideration, Su-yin only said, "This matter needs to be discussed at length. Let's start looking for a breakthrough now. The few of you should find more people to keep an eye on Feng Guoqing during this period of time. See if there are any weaknesses that we can exploit." Dan Hongning didn't even think about it. "That's needless to say. I'm afraid everyone knows that Secretary Feng is a pervert. There's really nothing else that we can use against him. This person is usually very low-key. He definitely doesn't wear a watch, and he definitely doesn't wear a luxury belt or wear luxury clothes. As for whether or not he received dirty money, that's even more impossible to verify. His only flaw is that he's a pervert and likes to stick to those young and beautiful girls. That is true, Qin Zhongming said lightly. Today when I went to his office, I saw him getting intimate with a new student. This person does look like a pervert. Su Yun smiled. There is a knife above the word pervert. Since he is so perverted, then let him be a dissolute ghost. Lu Feng, you usually deal with people and treat all kinds of people. You should know a lot of prostitutes, right? Brother, there are no such shops in Hudong now. The ones that are secretly opened are not of good quality. Lu Feng said. Don't pretend with me. Su Yun said impatiently. Lu Feng laughed awkwardly. I do know a place where the girls are not bad. As long as the price is right, they will follow. Then you can contact them and ask if they dare to secretly record a scene like Lei Biaofu's lover. Su Yun maintained the smile on his face. Just say, the recording time, 10,000 per minute. If it is 10 minutes, I will give her 100,000. If it is less than 13 seconds, I will give her 100,000. I really don't know if Secretary Feng can break old Lei's speed record. Qin Zhongming's face was a little ugly. Su Yun, I am afraid this is against the law. If he dares to go whoring, it is also against the law. It is just fighting fire with fire. Uncle Qin, I have no choice. Why should we be polite to a secretary who can even joke about the interests of the people? Su Yun. There is an old saying, regardless of whether it is a white cat or a black cat, as long as it can catch mice, it is a good cat. Now we don't care what methods we use. As long as we can catch Feng Guoqing's weakness, it is a good method. Lu Feng nodded. Brother Yin, leave this to me. Okay, then do as you see fit. Su Yin. Be sure to be natural. Don't let Feng Guoqing notice anything. Otherwise, it will be a waste. Moreover, it will be free for him to cheat. Dan Hongning laughed. Then let's arrange a beautiful encounter for them. During the meal, they were all discussing the best method. Qin Zhongming didn't say anything. No matter what, he still felt that this method was a bit too much. However, thinking about how Feng Guoqing made things difficult for him, perhaps Su Yun's method could really solve all his worries in the future. The final decision was made. LV Feng immediately contacted the hostess he was more familiar with. It was said that money could make the devil turn millstones. This saying was not false at all. 10,000 yuan per minute. This was too tempting. If she said that she could have sex with him for an hour, wouldn't she get an Audi TT? The production value was too impressive, and the young lady at the counter immediately agreed. Seeing that things were already like this, Qin Zhongming just let them be. Whether he could pass or not, he would have to completely rely on these young lads. When Chang sent Su Yun to the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel, it was already 9 o'clock in the evening. Guoguo was also tired after playing for a whole day. She had already gone to bed with Chou Yun. Ruan Qingshuang understood that he didn't come back because something must have happened, so she didn't ask anything. She just said that they went shopping today. They felt that the weather was cold, so they bought some autumn clothes for him. Su Yun felt a burst of warmth in his heart. Not to mention how happy he was, he quickly went to his room to try on clothes. He had just taken off his jacket and trousers when Qin Wan broke the door open and entered. This time, Su Yun was reasonable. Qin Wan, I say, do you have a weird habit of peeking at people? Why are you everywhere when I take off my clothes? This time I am in my own room. You don't have anything to say, right? Of course I do. Qin Wan didn't care. Anyway, he wasn't naked. She didn't care to look. Let me ask you. I just called my dad. He said that he would have dinner with you and a few friends. What's your purpose of approaching my dad? Su Yun was stunned. Oh, Qin Wan, I find that you are very narcissistic. You don't suspect that I want to approach your dad and then propose marriage, do you? I tell you, this is absolutely impossible. Don't dream about it. Otherwise, you will be very disappointed when you wake up. Get out of here. Qin Wan stared at Su Yun and said, let me tell you, my father has been an honest official all his life. So, don't think that you can bribe him just by getting close to him. There is no way he will give you preferential treatment. So, I advise you not to think about it. Do you understand? Su-yin smiled bitterly. It turned out that this girl came to remind him of this. Chin-won, you can rest assured. The thing I hate most in my life is to ask for help. Even if it is an acquaintance or an acquaintance's father, I will not accept bribes. Are you out of your mind? What are you thinking? Chin-won snorted. She knew that Su-yin would be fine if he said so. She was relieved. Why are you still standing there, waiting to see my naked body? Su-yin rolled his eyes at her. Chin-won spat and turned around. As she walked, she said, haven't you asked for help? Yesterday you asked me to give you signed underwear. Big pervert. After saying that, he slammed the door shut. Chapter 200. The next day, everyone started to act according to Su-yun's instructions. There was only one goal, to catch Feng Guiqing's weak point. However, Feng Guiqing was an old fox who had been in society for a long time. He was very vigilant at this moment. When a woman took the initiative to come to his door, he immediately realized that there was a trap. But Feng Guiqing, who was hard to resist, couldn't resist the temptation in the end. He took the girl hired by Lu Feng to one of his properties to spend the night. This was to avoid being blocked at home. The girl naturally thought that everything was going smoothly. While Feng Guiqing was taking a shower, she adjusted the angle of her phone and turned on the recording function. While taking a shower, Feng Guiqing began to yell and couldn't wait to let the girl in. Although there was no evidence in the bathroom, in order to not arouse Feng Guiqing's suspicion, the girl was very cooperative and went in to play with him. Feng Guiqing's heart was rippling. After hastily wiping himself, he hurriedly dragged the girl to the bed. After 2 minutes of pleasure, the girl was somewhat depressed. She didn't expect this old thing to have such little endurance. 2 minutes only cost 20,000 yuan. If she had known, she would have spent a few hundred yuan to buy him a pill. But then she thought about it. Usually, no one could charge 20,000 yuan, so she was happy. After venting his beast desire, Feng Guiqing lay on the bed like a puddle of mud. He lit a yellow crane tower and squinted at the girl with smooth skin and a well-proportioned body. Suddenly he said, "What time is it?" The girl didn't think too much. She picked up the phone on the bedside and was about to look at the time. Feng Guiqing suddenly reached out and snatched the phone from the girl's hand. The girl was stunned on the spot. Feng Guiqing sneered. "You're still too inexperienced to play this trick with me. Ever since Old Lei's show, do you think we don't have to be careful when we play with women? You want to use this kind of video to harm me? Do you really think I'm a fool?" Seeing that she was exposed, the girl got up and wanted to escape. Unexpectedly, Feng Guiqing grabbed her hair and angrily scolded. "Do you know who I am? How dare you harm me? Let me tell you, in Hadong City, I am the god. Fighting with me is fighting with the god. It's not that easy to leave. It's none of my business. Please let me go." The girl had never seen such a scene. She had been asked by Lu Feng. She knew that Lu Feng was doing well in Hadong City. Of course, she knew that the person Lu Feng wanted to mess with was not a simple person. Feng Guiqing dragged the girl onto the bed. "You want to leave now? Humph, I'm afraid it won't be that easy. Today, I will let you know the consequences of offending me. If you don't serve me well tonight, don't even think about leaving this room." The girl begged for mercy. If Feng Guiqing just wanted to vent his anger, she would listen to him. However, she was afraid that Feng Guiqing would interrogate her. She didn't dare to reveal Lu Feng's name. If she did, she wouldn't be able to survive in Hadong City. However, although Feng Guiqing was the most lecherous person in the world, he certainly wouldn't forget to ask who was so blind as to want to blackmail him. As he struggled to separate the girl's legs, he roared angrily. "Who ordered you to come here? Speak." "No." The girl begged for mercy as she stepped back. However, she couldn't resist Feng Guiqing at all. She was easily pressed under Feng Guiqing's body. At this time, a shadow flashed by the door. Qianfeng, the green dragon, smiled and said to the two people in the room, "I ordered her to come here." Although Su Yin had handed this matter to the three tigers of Southern City, To a certain extent, he didn't completely trust and rest assured that the three of them would be able to do it perfectly. Their plan didn't take into account the possibility that Feng Guiqing would resist, so in a way, it was wishful thinking. Su Yun felt that it was hard to say that a person who could become the municipal party secretary didn't have the most basic vigilance. Although women were Feng Guiqing's Achilles heel, at this juncture when Qin Zhongming came to be the mayor of Hudong City, he would be more or less suspicious. While the three tigers of Southern City were making arrangements, Su Yun roughly explained the matter to Qianfeng and asked Qianfeng to follow up on this matter. It would be best if there was no accident. If there was an accident, he would intervene to stop it. Therefore, Qianfeng followed them all the way to Feng Guiqing's unknown property and quietly lurked outside the window. When the two people went into the bathroom to play, he directly sneaked into the room. He also turned on the recording function of his phone and hid in the most inconspicuous place to secretly take pictures. Feng Guiqing looked in surprise at the man who had suddenly appeared in his house out of nowhere. He instantly broke out in a cold sweat and pulled the blanket over his unsightly body. He glared at him and said, "Who are you? You are trespassing. I can sue you. Sue me if you want. If we were in America, you could even shoot me." Qianfeng didn't bother to pay attention to him. He went straight to the place where he hid his phone and took it out. He said to himself, "There are passionate and violent scenes in this film. TSK, TSK, TSK. If you put it on the internet, the click rate will definitely surpass that of Lay Something Fu. You will become an internet celebrity in a day." Feng Guiqing's face changed. He would never let that happen because if that happened, he would be completely ruined in this life. Not to mention turning over a new leaf. Even if he didn't die, he would lose a layer of skin. Now, if something happened, it would be called going against the wind and making waves, and it would be strictly dealt with. "Brother, what do you want? Let's sit down and talk calmly. If you have any conditions, you can state them. I can't promise anything else, but in Hudong City, I can say whatever I want." Feng Guiqing saw that he had something on him, and the anger on his face disappeared. He said with a pleasant expression, "Let's talk things over, talk things over." Qianfeng looked at the girl who was naked on the bed. He waved his hand and said to her, "This is none of your business. Go and ask whoever you want for money. This is an accident. You have done what you should do. Go and get what you deserve." The girl looked at Qianfeng with eyes full of gratitude. She didn't care that there were two men in the room. She quickly put on her clothes and ran out in a hurry. "You don't want your phone?" Qianfeng reminded her. The girl was stunned. She looked back at Feng Guiqing, but didn't dare to speak. Feng Guiqing's face changed. One video was enough to make him cry. If there were two, he would be dead meat. Thinking of this, Feng Guiqing directly raised his hand and smashed the phone on the ground. Qianfeng didn't say anything and kicked Feng Guiqing's smug face directly. He rolled off the bed and fell heavily on the ground. His face was full of tears and snot. I'll pay. Don't do it." Although Feng Guiqing was kicked, he was relieved that a part of the evidence was destroyed. The girl picked up the broken phone and didn't know what to do. Qianfeng waved his hand and motioned her to leave. Then he shook his phone at Feng Guiqing. "I still have another copy. Do you think you can escape?" In this case, the girl had no choice. She could only take the broken phone and leave. At least, she could take this phone to Lu Feng. She didn't want the money for doing things, but she couldn't let herself lose a nouveau riche iPhone 5S, right? Feng Guiqing sat on the ground and pleaded, "Brother, the phone in your hand, I'll buy it. I'll buy it for 100,000, okay? No, 200,000. I'll buy it for 200,000. Don't King mess with me. I think you're a typical bastard. You won't give up until you see the coffin, right?" Qianfeng gritted his teeth. His phone did record, but he was too proud and forgot to save it. Although Feng Guiqing didn't know, Qianfeng knew very well that the evidence was gone. If this person insisted, then he couldn't do anything about it. We're all smart people. Brother, let's try to solve things properly if we can. This is good for everyone. Don't you think so? Feng Guiqing laughed and said, "Brother, listen to me. 500,000, sell this phone to me, and we'll be friends. If there's anything in Hudong City, just say the word. There's nothing I, Feng Guoqing, can't do. Grandson, I didn't know you were so greedy. How much is your monthly salary? Qianfeng sneered. Even if you don't eat, drink, or buy a house or a car, 500,000 is enough for you to save for 10 years. I hate corrupt officials the most. 500,000 is too little. Add another zero and I'll think about it. Feng Guoqing's face changed instantly. This bastard really dared to ask for it. 5 million. Wasn't that asking for his life? Excluding the fixed assets of the 3 houses, he would be bankrupt if he took out 5 million. If you think it's okay, I'll give you an account number now. You can transfer the money. I'll give you the phone right away. Qianfeng wasn't a stubborn person. Since there was no video in the phone, even if it was sold for 50,000, it would be a big profit, let alone 5 million. Feng Guoqing said awkwardly, I really don't have that much. Then you'll be famous tomorrow. Qianfeng spat. You should know what happened to Lei. Since you want to end up like him, I won't stop you. See you later. Qianfeng wanted to extort as much as he could, but he didn't expect Feng Guoqing to agree when he turned to leave. I'll give now. You're really greedy. Qianfeng really didn't expect Feng Guoqing to be able to afford it. Feng Guoqing couldn't care about anything else now. Protecting his reputation was more important than anything else. Even if he ran out of money, he could still get more. He got up and turned on his computer. He sold all his stocks and futures, and didn't want any fixed deposits. He really managed to scrape together 8 million. Qianfeng saw everything and knew that this grandson really couldn't get more money. He didn't want to make things difficult for him. He gave him the account number, and Feng Guoqing transferred the money on the spot. Then Qianfeng received a text message. It had to be real money. Then, Qianfeng cleared all the data in the phone, and threw it to Feng Guoqing. He then jumped out of the window. Chapter 201. At 10 o'clock in the evening, everyone gathered in Su Yun's room at the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel. Ruan Qingshuang was very curious about these men's affairs, but she still held back and did not ask more. She just made a pot of tea and prepared some dried fruits. Guogua had always wanted to sneak in to listen to the adults' affairs, but she was mercilessly taken back to her room by Chou Yun. Guogua felt that it was unfair. But the one who felt the most unfair was Qinwan. Because of her own father's affairs, Su Yun actually told her not to come and make trouble. What kind of logic was this? More importantly, even her father spoke for Su Yun. How could she not be angry? Lu Feng took the broken phone and threw it on the coffee table. He was very depressed. Although the phone was broken, he also spent 10,000 yuan. This matter was not settled neatly. How could he face Su Yun? Qianfeng threw the bank card with nearly 5 million yuan on the table. Although it was satisfying, he still couldn't get the most direct and favorable evidence to help Qin Zhongming. Therefore, this matter couldn't be considered as a perfect closure. Su Yun picked up the phone that was smashed beyond recognition on the table, and looked at it roughly. The broken phone is only the surface. Maybe the internal things can still be used. I asked Apple's customer service. They said that this kind of phone is not repaired at all. This is man-made damage. Even if it is repaired, there is no guarantee that the internal things will still be there. Dan Hongning said, Brother Yun, we can only catch him again. Kong Zhong frowned. Who do you think Feng Guoqing is? After this time he will definitely not make the same mistake again, and during this period of time, he will definitely be more cautious than a mouse stealing oil. It will be even more difficult to catch him again. Kong Zhong is right. Su Yun nodded. Since Feng Guoqing has the ability to become the municipal party secretary, he is definitely not a person without schemes. This time, he lost nearly 5 million yuan. He will definitely not make such a low-level mistake like before. We only have this one chance. If we want to wait for him to lower his guard again, I'm afraid it will take at least 3 to 5 months. We might not even have such an opportunity again. Everyone looked at Su Yun helplessly. Su Yun played with the phone in his hand and studied it again and again. According to the circuit classification, if we find the memory chip in this phone and switch it to another phone of the same type, we should be able to read it. Qian Feng blamed himself for not being able to stop Feng Guiqing from damaging the phone. He also blamed himself for not being proficient in this area. Su Yin and the Dragon Fury team were definitely not the kind of boorish people who only had strength and no brains. They received learning in all aspects, but the things made by foreigners were more detailed. They were not proficient in it, so they had a headache for a while. Boss, why don't I ask Yin Long if she knows how to fix it? Qian Feng said. Maybe she knows a little more than us. Let's try. Su Yin could only try his best now. After all, this nouveau riche 5S had just been released on the market. He did not have much hope for Fan Wushuang. Qian Feng quickly called Fan Wushuang. After listening to the situation, Fan Wushuang picked up the phone that was beyond recognition. She only glanced at it and said disdainfully, "This is simply a domestic knockoff. Although it looks like the real thing, it does not have the core technology. It is very simple. Can't you two see it?" As she said that, Fan Wushuang directly took out a part from the phone that made the three tigers of Nanqing and Chang confused. She said to Su Yin and Qian Feng, "The things are all stored in here. How can you not know such a simple thing?" Su Yin's face turned red. There was always someone better than him. Although he dared to say that he could use 90% of the high-tech things in the world, and he could repair 90% of the cars, this kind of gadget was really his weakness. "Io, sister, don't lecture me." Qian Feng was happy because he saw hope again. "Just tell me if you can fix it." Fan Wushuang said lightly. "Just find me a useless USB flash drive. I will move this thing into the USB flash drive, so you can read it directly with the computer." Expert. She was definitely a high-tech talent. Chang was not very educated, and the three tigers of Nanqing did not understand the Tao of this. When they heard Fan Wushuang say that she could restore the stored things, they absolutely worshipped her. They simply worshipped her like a god. Qin Zhongming could not help but admire Su Yin. He was really young and promising. The people around him were all extraordinary. If his daughter could have such a friend, he could really be completely relieved. After an hour, Fan Wushuang returned to Su Yin's room with the processed USB flash drive. "Try it. If there is something in it, you can definitely find it." Qian Feng did not even think about it. He took it and quickly turned on the computer. There was really an extra drive. This was too awesome. When he double-clicked to open it, the screen was instantly filled with selfies of girls. Many of them were wearing revealing clothes, and some were even naked. Fan Wushuang was stunned. Did they ask her to fix this thing for half a day just for these obscene photos? To be honest, she had an impulse to smash the computer at this moment. Qian Feng was so excited that he did not have the time to explain to Fan Wushuang. He shouted, "I got it! I got it!" and quickly flipped through the videos inside. There was not only one video inside. When Qian Feng started fighting, it was also an intimate scene. However, the man was not Feng Guiqing. The panting sound coming from the computer made Fan Wushuang's whole face turn red. "Thank you." Su Yin said to Fan Wushuang, "Today's matter is all thanks to you. Otherwise, our efforts would have been in vain." Fan Wushuang turned her head with a pale face. "The thing you asked me to fix is this mess? If I had known, I wouldn't have helped you." Su Yin knew that Fan Wushuang had misunderstood, but he really did not know how to explain it. Fortunately, at this time, Qin Zhongming stood up to help Su Yin out. "Miss, Su Yin did this for me. He wanted to help me catch the opponent's weakness. It is not what you see on the surface. I'm already so old. I won't disrespect myself by gathering with young people just to watch this. Think about it, right?" Hearing Qin Zhongming's words, Fan Wushuang also felt that this was the case. This made her feel quite embarrassed. She smiled apologetically. "Sorry, I misunderstood. Since there's nothing else, I'll go back first." "Found it!" Qian Feng shouted in surprise. Look at Feng Guiqing's intoxicated expression. "Damn. 2 minutes, okay? It's so weak. Boss, do you think he's a man?" Su Yin shook his head. Huaxia's men's football team played with 45 of him. Fan Wushuang blushed and turned her head away. This group of guys really did not care about whether a girl like her would be embarrassed or not. It was fine to collect evidence, but there was no need to admire it, right? It was fine as long as they knew. Io Lu Feng not bad. The girl you found is really professional. Chang shouted. Feng Guoqing's gadget is not even as big as a 7th battery. How can it make her so intoxicated? Ha 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 ha. This sentence caused everyone to burst into laughter. Su Yin glared. Turn it off. Don't make trouble here. What should be done has been done. Go back to your homes and find your mothers. It's so late. Uncle Qin needs to rest. As he spoke, Su Yin had already transferred the video and unplugged the USB. Seeing that there was no more fun to watch, everyone got up and prepared to leave. Qin Zhongming said gratefully. After the demolition is done, I must thank everyone and treat everyone to a meal. Thank you for putting aside your own things to help me solve such a big problem. Uncle Qin, you're too polite. Aren't we all family? Xiangzi said. Since you're an official in Hudong City, don't worry. If there's anything you can't solve, you just need to make a call. None of us here will object. If anyone tries to make excuses, they're not Officer Qin's friends. Big Brother Yin will be the first to kill them. Su Yin raised his leg and kicked Chang's butt. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Go back to sleep. Prepare to hand over the house tomorrow. Take a lead on your side, understand? Of course I understand. Chang was not angry. He touched his butt and smiled. Uncle Qin, don't worry. I promise I'll be the first to hand over the house. You guys rest. I'll go back first. Then the 3 tigers of Nanqing said goodbye. Qin Zhongming did not leave because Qin Wan had already prepared a room for him. After everyone went back to their rooms to rest, Qin Zhongming held the USB in his hand. He had a lot of emotions in his heart. He did not expect that he would be so opposed to Feng Guoqing after coming to Hudong City. Maybe he should not have lowered his head. After 3 knocks on the door, Qin Wan'er's voice came from outside. Dad, are you asleep? Qin Zhongming knew that his daughter must be worried that he was in trouble. He did not want her to think too much, so he smiled and said, Wan'er, Dad is asleep. You should go back and rest. You have to go to work tomorrow morning. Okay. Then you should go to sleep. Qin Wan'er did not say anything more, and went back to her room. She was now living in the same suite as Ruan Qingshuang. Ruan Qingshuang saw the puzzled look on her face and could not help but ask, Wan'er, what are you thinking? Sister Qingshuang, I always feel that my dad and Su Yin are hiding something from me. This time, my dad came to Hudong City because he was demoted. I'm worried that he might be in some trouble. Also, the demolition work that he is in charge of now seems to be very difficult. Qin Wan'er sighed. I can't help much, so I feel very uneasy. Ruan Qingshuang poured a cup of hot water for Qin Wan'er. Wan'er, don't worry. Even if Uncle Qin is in trouble, he has Su Yin to discuss it with him. You don't have to worry that he can't do it well. He always puts other people's affairs more important than his own. You don't have to worry about that. Go to sleep. Don't think too much. Chapter 202. Although it was already 11:30 at night, Ruan Qingshuang was sure that Su Yin was still awake. She knew that he had been working hard these days because of Qin Wan'er's father, so she cooked some bird's nest with rock sugar and sent it to him. Su Yin felt very warm because of the surprise. He spoke incoherently, Sister Shuang, it's already so late. I'm sorry to trouble you to make this. Why are you so restrained? You've helped us a lot. I'm just cooking bird's nest soup for you. It's nothing. Ruan Qingshuang smiled. There are all kinds of people in the hotel now. Everything is arranged in an orderly manner. I don't know what to do every day. I was used to being busy, but now I feel like I have nothing to do. As Ruan Qingshuang spoke, she didn't forget to tell Su Yin. Eat it while it's hot. Rest early after eating. Look at how busy you've been these past few days. Then you sit down first. Su Yin didn't hold back. He asked Ruan Qingshuang to sit down and ate the bird's nest soup. It's delicious. Haha, it would be great if I could eat this every day. Ruan Qingshuang blushed. If you want to eat it, I'll make it for you every day. Su Yin was just saying it casually. He didn't expect Ruan Qingshuang to take it so seriously. He quickly waved his hand. Sister Shuang, that's too much trouble. I'm just saying it. I just want to have some hot water to drink at night. I just want to taste the bird's nest soup once. Don't trouble yourself. By the way, Su Yin, is Uncle Qin in some kind of trouble? Wan Qingxuang changed the topic. I feel like he's not in the mood, and he's hiding it from Wan right? It's not a big deal. Uncle Qin just doesn't want Wan to worry. Now that everything has been taken care of, Wan shouldn't worry. Su Yin smiled. There are many things she can't help with, so it's better for her not to worry about it. Wan Qingxuang still had some questions she wanted to ask. I heard from Wan that her father was demoted this time. Although I don't know much about officialdom, I know that a small change in officialdom can have a great impact on a person's career. Moreover, he changed his job and lost his previous connections. So I can imagine Wan-er's worries. If it were my father, I would be worried too. Su Yin smiled. Sister Shuang, what you say makes sense. Wan-er's father coming to Hudong will be difficult because of his relationships with others, but this will only be temporary. At least there are people like us who can give him some help. What problems did Uncle Qin encounter? I heard from Wan-er that there were some problems with the demolition. Wan Qingxuang's curiosity was piqued. Although she couldn't help, she wanted to know what Su Yin and the others were doing for Qin Zhongming. The demolition problem should be solved by tomorrow, Su Yin said. It's about Chang Zi's family. With Chang Zi's help to speak to his old neighbors, the rest of the matter shouldn't be a big deal. When Wan Qingxuang heard that it was about Chang's family, the worry in her heart immediately disappeared. Seeing that Su Yin had finished eating the bird's nest, she stood up and took the bowl. It's great to have Chang's help. You should rest. I'll go back first. Su Yin especially enjoyed this feeling. It was enough for him to have someone send him supper in the middle of the night. Sister Shuang, don't be so troublesome in the future. There are so many things to do in the hotel, and you still have to make me bird's nest at night. I feel bad about it. Wan Qingxuang paused and asked Su Yin, you don't like it when I make supper for you? No, of course I like it. Su Yin hurriedly said. I'm just afraid that it'll be too hard for you. As long as you like it. I don't think it's hard at all. After saying that, Wan Qingxuang left Su Yin's room as if she was escaping. She still had half a sentence that she did not say out loud. She wanted to say that she did not feel tired doing anything for the person she liked. In fact, everyone was the same. They were willing to do anything for the person they liked. They wouldn't think about whether it was hard or not. When they were doing something, they would only think about the other party. As long as the other party liked her, she would feel happy and wouldn't have any complaints. Looking at Wan Qingxuang's departing figure, Su Yin felt a special kind of satisfaction in his heart. He sat cross-legged on the bed and quickly calmed his mind. Now that the enemy was right in front of him, he had to stabilize his mind as soon as possible. When he had just broken through to become a supermaster, he didn't feel it. Now he slowly realized that a supermaster's mind was harder to control than a first-class master's mind. To break through from the first stage to the second stage, it didn't take a little bit, but a lot of practice. When Su Yin broke through to the ranks of supermasters, he found that the breathing method taught to him by his master, Wang Yi, was more effective than before. Perhaps it was because his ability had improved and there was true qi running in his body, so he could get more help than before. After breathing in and out, Su Yin saw that it was getting late, so he fell asleep peacefully. Thinking about Qin Zhongming showing the USB drive to Feng Guoqing tomorrow. What would that guy's face look like? After the National Day holiday, everyone returned to normal. Guogua also started to get up early to go to school. The only difference was that she no longer needed Su Xiaoran to pick her up because the school was not far from the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel. Chou Yun hoped to walk with Guogua every day, so that she could also get some exercise. Even if there was any bad weather, Dan Jiahao could drive them at any time. After taking over the hotel, due to the popularity of the medicinal cuisine business, Wan Qingxuang also invested more than 300,000 yuan under Guogua's persuasion to buy a Buick minivan that was enough for many people to use at the same time. Although the price was not expensive, it was indeed the most practical because they had a lot of people. Qin Zhongming came to the unit with a special mood today. When he knocked on Feng Guoqing's office, Feng Guoqing still had an impatient face. What happened yesterday gave him a headache. Now that he saw Qin Zhongming, Feng Guoqing was naturally not in the mood. What are you doing here again? If you want to talk to me about increasing the demolition fee, there is no way. Feng Guoqing waved his hand. The financial situation is already very tight. You think of a way yourself. Qin Zhongming knew that Feng Guoqing's so-called financial situation was referring to himself. Qian Feng took nearly 5 million yuan out of his pocket. No one could bear it. Feng Guoqing definitely would not increase the demolition fee now. If the money was really left, he could at least make his wallet full again by doing something. Qin Zhongming did not say anything. He directly threw the USB flash drive on Feng Guoqing's desk. Secretary Feng, I have a document here. I hope you can take a look at it carefully. Without waiting for Feng Guoqing to speak, Qin Zhongming directly turned and left, leaving Feng Guoqing behind. Feng Guoqing was already annoyed. He thought that Qin Zhongming had prepared the documents and application to increase the demolition fee. He shouted at Qin Zhongming's back. Qin Zhongming, who do you think you are? You think I will look at the documents just because you want me to? Who do you think I am? Let me tell you, I am the municipal party secretary of Hudong City. I am the most powerful person in Hudong City. Don't think that you are really the second in command. There are many people in Hudong City that I can use. If you can't do the task given to you, then give it to someone else. Originally, Qin Zhongming did not want to say anything more. However, when he heard Feng Guoqing's words, he stopped. Feng Guoqing, as long as you dare to look at this document, I believe that my demolition task can be completed. You don't have to look at it, but let me remind you, if you don't look at it, you will definitely regret it. I will regret it. Feng Guoqing sneered. Are you threatening me? Qin Zhongming did not say anything. He directly walked back to his office. The only thing he did in the morning was to wait for Feng Guoqing to come here with a smiling face. Although Feng Guoqing said that he did not want to look at it, he was still very curious about what Qin Zhongming gave him. He finally turned on the computer. However, the contents of the USB flash drive surprised him. When he saw the video of him being filmed from the same angle as Lei Xiaofu, he was instantly dumbfounded. He clearly smashed the phone that the girl used to film him yesterday. How did this video appear in Qin Zhongming's hands? He did not need to think about it now. This must be the first axe that Qin Zhongming used to declare war on him. And this first axe was very straightforward to chop the center of Feng Guoqing's head. It almost split him alive. Qin Zhongming. Feng Guoqing gritted his teeth, wishing he could skin Qin Zhongming alive and eat him alive. But in the end, he swallowed all the resentment and anger in his stomach. He lost in this matter, lost in a complete mess. Because of a woman, he was directly turned over by Qin Zhongming and stepped on under his feet. For his own reputation, in order to still be able to stand in the official career in the future, Feng Guoqing could only quickly put away his pitiful self-esteem. He immediately informed his subordinates to redo the demolition documents of the Wenhui district's shantytown residents. The matter of the money was, of course, according to Qin Zhongming's instructions, just like other places. He had completely dispelled all thoughts about the money. As long as this could shut Qin Zhongming's mouth, he would do anything. Under his personal supervision and urging, the new demolition documents were completed in 2 hours. In the end, he personally took this document and knocked on Qin Zhongming's office door. Qin Zhongming squatted in his office the whole morning. No one came in to greet him. After hearing the knock, he knew that this was really called one does not visit a temple without a cause. It seemed that Feng Guoqing had finished enjoying the action movie he starred in. Come in. Qin Zhongming's voice was neither loud nor soft, but it easily penetrated into Feng Guoqing's ears. Feng Guoqing quickly opened the door. The smile on his face was definitely brighter than a chrysanthemum. Mayor Qin, you are so busy. I didn't disturb you, right? I brought you a package of tea leaves. Fujian Guanyin King. This was brought back by Xiao Zhao and the others from their business trip a few days ago. The taste is definitely different. Chapter 203. Mayor Qin, What are you talking about? Of course, I'm here for more than this. Of course, I have good news to tell you. Feng Guoqing's face was full of flattery. Regarding the increase in the demolition compensation, I've already taken care of it for you. The same price, the same price. The same price as the shanty town in the city. The same price as the Wenhui district. Not a cent less. Qin Zhongming took the materials that Feng Guoqing handed to him. Indeed, the original price of the demolition subsidy had been increased. The land area had increased from the original 4,500 yuan to 4,600 yuan. The construction subsidy had also increased from the original 150 yuan to 200 yuan. Presumably, in this case, the opinions of the residents of the demolition households would be appeased. Mayor Qin, I've done everything I can. I've done my best. Feng Guoqing's face was still full of smiles. I also hope that you can be merciful. In the future, I'll do my best to cooperate with your work. Secretary Feng, if we could cooperate one day earlier, how good would that be? Qin Zhongming smiled slightly. I also don't want things to be so bad. After all, we'll be colleagues and friends in the future. We'll see each other often. More or less, I'll leave a way out for myself. Feng Guoqing cursed Qin Zhongming in his heart for being insidious, but he didn't show it on his face. He had a flattering expression. Yes, Mayor Qin. You're absolutely right. Leave a way out for yourself. I'll remember it in my heart. Remember it in my heart. Qin Zhongming saw that he had gotten the result he wanted, so he didn't continue to argue with Feng Guoqing. Secretary Feng, since this matter is settled, I'll go to the demolition office to announce this news. Completing the demolition work as soon as possible is the most important thing now. Yes. Then I'll have to trouble you, Secretary Qin. Feng Guoqing smiled until his eyes narrowed into a line. After watching Qin Zhongming leave the office and go downstairs, his smiling eyes turned cold. Standing by the window, Feng Guoqing saw Qin Zhongming get into the old Pasa and leave. He immediately took out his phone and dialed a number. He asked straightforwardly, "Have you prepared the things I asked you to prepare?" Qin Zhongming has already gone there. Secretary Feng, I didn't expect the people here to be so stubborn. They all said that they would agree to the demolition as long as the price was the same as the city center. A few people told me that they were afraid of offending the tyrant here. I think his name is Chen Chong. I heard that Chen Chong helped Qin Zhongming with his work. The person on the phone explained hurriedly. I can only find one person who is stirring up trouble. His name is Fatty San. He was beaten by Chen Chong's people because he didn't agree with the demolition. Feng Guoqing gritted his teeth and thought to himself, Qin Zhongming, I didn't expect you, this old fox, to have already found a local tyrant to pave the way. Now, as long as I get this amount of subsidies, I can successfully demolish the building. This is really too hateful. Secretary Feng, what should we do now? Only the third fatty is willing to resist, the person on the other end of the phone said. Feng Guoqing sneered. You tell that third fatty to let him make a ruckus. The bigger the ruckus he makes, the more we'll satisfy him. The premise is that we have to create some trouble for Qin Zhongming. If he manages to deal with the demolition smoothly, then he won't get any benefits. Yes, Secretary Feng. I'll tell him now. You quickly deal with the matter and leave quickly. Qin Zhongming has already left the courtyard. I estimate that he will arrive in less than half an hour. Feng Guoqing said nervously. He didn't stay idle while dealing with the matter of increasing the demolition fee in the morning. He sent his secretary, Xiao Ma, out to investigate the situation. It didn't matter if he investigated, but he really found out something. It turned out that as long as the amount of subsidies was in place, the residents of Wenhui Shantytown would have to sign. This was really too easy for Qin Zhongming. Of course, Feng Guoqing wouldn't just suffer in silence. Although he obeyed Qin Zhongming on the surface, if he didn't do something secretly, it would be difficult to relieve the anger in his heart. After Qin Zhongming left the courtyard of the municipal party committee, he immediately contacted Su Yun and told him that the matter had been successfully completed. Su Yun was relieved when he heard that everything had gone smoothly. He believed that there would be no mistakes with the guarantee given by Chong. Qin Zhongming, who went straight to Wenhui Shantytown, was in a good mood. He didn't expect that he could still make a difference after being isolated in Hudong City. He knew very well who he owed all of this to. He didn't know whether he should thank God for opening his eyes or rejoice that he didn't do anything wrong in his life and accumulated good karma. When Qin Zhongming told the residents of Wenhui Shantytown about the increase of the demolition fee, the support he received on the scene made him finally feel relieved. However, when he returned to the demolition headquarters and thought that everything was settled, Third Fatty's appearance made his nerves tense again. "Don't even think about letting me demolish if you don't give me 1 million. Third Fatty, whose face was still swollen, blocked the door of the headquarters. He held a barrel of gasoline in his hand and said arrogantly, "Qin Zhongming, you bastard official colluded with Chen Chang and the underworld. I'm not done with you." Qin Zhongming and the staff on the scene ran out after hearing Third Fatty's shout. They were a little stunned when they saw Third Fatty holding a barrel of gasoline in his hand and showing his teeth. His expression was that he wanted to die together with Qin Zhongming. Behind Sampang Zi, there were also countless residents who wanted to watch the show. They all knew that Sampang Zi was a straightforward person. Perhaps he would really cause some big trouble. After seeing Qin Zhongming, Third Fatty didn't say anything and directly poured the gasoline on himself. The strong pungent smell of gasoline instantly filled the small courtyard of the demolition headquarters. Third Fatty held a lighter in his hand and looked at the crowd with a ferocious expression. Qin Zhongming's expression changed. "It would be troublesome if someone died. What's the matter? You can't solve the problem by being so extreme." "Solve what problem? Haven't you thought of solving the problem for me?" Third Fatty roared. "Today, I'll say it right here. As long as you give me the money, we can talk about anything. If you don't give me the money, then I'll burn myself. I don't believe that you can still be the mayor in the future if the people die in your hands." Qin Zhongming didn't expect this person to be so extreme. He simply pushed all the responsibility to himself. "You listen to me. I've done my best to help you get the demolition money. If you don't believe me, you can go to the municipal committee and ask. The subsidy price given to you now is the same for the whole city. It's impossible and unrealistic to get a higher price. Don't do anything stupid. What I do is none of your business. Just tell me if you're going to give me the money or not." Third Fatty leaned the lighter against his body and glared at Qin Zhongming. Qin Zhongming really didn't know what to do. He couldn't agree to this. If he agreed to one, others would follow suit. In that case, this matter wouldn't be over. But if he didn't agree and this person really lit the lighter in his hand, things would be troublesome. Just when Qin Zhongming was at his wit's end, Chang's black Audi A6 once again drove directly into the small courtyard of the headquarters at the most critical time. Su Yun and Chang both got out of the car at the fastest speed. After Qin Zhongming saw Su Yun, he felt somewhat comforted. Previously, when Qin Zhongming informed Su Yun of the matter, Su Yun didn't think much about it. Later, he always felt that there was something wrong with completing this matter so smoothly. In the end, he decided to call Chang and let Chang take him to the scene of the shanty town. After arriving at the scene, he heard that Third Fatty stopped all the residents who wanted to go to the demolition headquarters to sign the documents and prepare to move. He carried a gasoline barrel and went to the headquarters alone. Most of the people who wanted to go to the demolition headquarters decided to wait and see how Third Fatty would deal with this matter. If Sampang Zi could get a high amount of compensation, they would definitely not be willing to do so. As long as they gave in, the other residents would do their best to fight for a little more for themselves. After all, the residents here had the mentality of a normal citizen, who would let go of a chance to earn a little more money. After Chang got out of the car, he walked to Third Fatty and scolded. "If you want to die, no one will stop you. Get out and light the fire. Don't dirty this place." "Chen Chang, do you think I don't dare? Let me tell you, whoever is scared is a bastard." Third Fatty bared his teeth. "If you don't give me an explanation today, don't think that I will let you have a good time. If you don't give me the money, I will die here." Su Yun really couldn't understand this kind of people. In their minds, was money or life more important? You want to die? Chang didn't care about him. If you want to die, then go out and die. How much do you think your life is worth? Get out. Don't try this with me, I won't buy it. I, Chang, will say it here today. Whoever wants to die can King get out of here. Those who work with Mayor Qin, report to me, Chang. After the house is demolished, I will contact a group purchase for the house. The price will definitely not lose out to the old neighbors. If you are like third fatty, then don't say that I don't care about past favors. After hearing Chang's words, the people who came to watch the show had the mentality of wanting to hand over the house. Don't listen to his *T. Third fatty shouted. How much cheaper do you think the house can be? Even if it's 100,000 cheaper. It's not as good as us making a scene now to fight for more. According to their calculations, my courtyard can only be compensated with a maximum of 600,000. If I buy the house, I won't have the money to eat and drink for the rest of my life. Su-Yin finally couldn't help but say, are you counting on this house to live for the rest of your life? The demolition fee and the construction allowance on the ground will give you 4,800 per square meter. Chang helped the old neighbors to contact a small district that was developed by an acquaintance. He will sell it to you at 4,200 per square meter. The money to buy the house is enough. If you want to have a good life in your next life, you will have to rely on your own two hands. Are you counting on the demolition fee to give you a few 100,000 to live for the rest of your life? Impossible. I don't care. I want 1 million. I don't care about your 4,200 house. Third fatty scolded. Su-Yin narrowed his eyes and waved his hand at Chang. His lighter seems to be out of gas. It can't be lit. Lend him one. Chapter 204. Just now, when San Pangzi was excited, his hand that was holding the lighter loosened for a moment. It was only for a moment, but Su-Yin saw clearly that the lighter was a completely vented lighter. It definitely wouldn't ignite a fire. It seemed that San Pangzi also knew what would happen if the gasoline was exposed to fire, so he was prepared. This time he came to act shamelessly. He never thought that he would really burn himself to death. Although there were fools in the world who would risk their lives for money, they were definitely not San Pangzi. He was still waiting to take the 1 million yuan to have fun. When Su-Yin saw the lighter in his hand that could never be ignited, he instantly understood this truth. That was why he dared to say this to Chang. He wouldn't do something that would really kill someone, but at this time, the way to deal with a rascal was to be more ruthless than him. Chang didn't know that the lighter in San Pangzi's hand couldn't be ignited. When he heard Su-Yun's words, he was a little confused. Was he really going to set San Pangzi on fire? He really couldn't do it. Although San Pangzi was very annoying, he was still an old neighbor for more than 20 years. Let's talk things over. This kind of extreme method is absolutely not to be used. Qin Zhongming also didn't understand Su-Yun's thoughts. He thought that Su-Yun really wanted to fight poison with poison. After all, he was the person in charge, and he didn't want to take this risk. However, Su-Yun didn't listen to what he said. When he saw that Chang didn't respond, he said again, Chang, lend him a lighter. Brother Yin said it twice. Of course, Chang wouldn't be indifferent. He directly took out a lighter from his pocket and walked to San Pangzi's side without saying anything. San Pangzi's face changed at that time. He quickly took a step back and shouted at Chang, Don't come over. If you come over, I'll ignite it. If you push me too far, I'll die with you. These words were really useful. Chang didn't want to get himself into trouble. But there was always a what if. Once that what if happened, the matter could be big or small. If he really forced the third fatty to the brink of death and ignited the fire, wouldn't he be using himself as a scapegoat? Su-Yin understood Chang's hesitation. After all, he hadn't received any training. If Azure Dragon and the others were present and Su-Yin said so, they definitely wouldn't hesitate to do it. This was because they knew very well that Su-Yin would never let them do anything that would really endanger their lives. But now that Azure Dragon and the others were not present, Su-Yin could only stand up and take the lighter from Chang's hand. With a click, he lit it. Looking at the flame, he smiled and said, Let me personally deliver the lighter. Brother Yin. His grandson's brain isn't good enough. It's better if you don't get close to him. Chang's worry wasn't unfounded. He grabbed Su-Yun's wrist. He didn't want to get himself into trouble, nor did he want Su Yin to get hurt. San Pengzi saw that Chang was afraid, so he became even more arrogant. He shook the lighter in his hand and said, "I'll warn you again, I really dare to ignite it. If I do, I'll drag one of you down with me even if I die." Su Yin didn't care about this mess at all. He only believed in his own eyes and his own judgment. He saw that the lighter in San Pengzi's hand didn't ignite, so he was sure of his judgment. San Pengzi didn't dare to die. Su Yin didn't have to be polite to a guy who was just holding a lighter to scare people. "Su Yin, don't let anything happen to him," Qin Zhongming couldn't help but say. He was really worried. However, Su Yin just smiled and walked toward San Pengzi. San Pengzi took 2 steps back when he saw this. He was shocked that this bastard actually dared to attack him. Just as San Pengzi's heart was beating like a drum, Su Yin lit the lighter again with a click. Seeing this, San Pengzi was really dumbfounded. Although the lighter in his hand was a lifeless prop, the gasoline that he had poured all over his body was real. If it really caught on fire, he would definitely be burned to ashes without leaving a corpse behind. No one will stop you if you want to die. 1 million, right? If you really ignite yourself, Mayor Qin won't have to pay for it. I'll pay for it. Su Yin smiled and stretched the lighter forward. He had a very accurate grasp of the distance, and would never push the flame to a position where it could ignite. San Pengzi's face instantly turned pale. He staggered backward and directly squatted on the ground. The arrogance he had just now was gone. His lips trembled, but he couldn't say anything. His hand loosened and the lighter fell to the ground. At this time, Chang saw clearly that the lighter really didn't ignite. He was a little angry. Su Yin put out the lighter, and then threw it next to San Pengzi's leg. "I said if you dare to ignite yourself, I'll give you 1 million. Do as you see fit." After San Pengzi heard this, a large wet spot in the crotch of his pants was seen. Ignite himself? That was something only an idiot would do. Although San Pengzi had a one-track mind, he still knew what he could do and what he couldn't do. If he really burned himself to death, what was the use of having so much money? Chang didn't say anything. He stepped forward and kicked San Pengzi's shoulder. "Bastard! Are you playing with me? Burn it. Why don't you burn it for me to see? I'm telling you, it's up to you whether you want to hand over the house or not. If you don't want to tear it down, then try it. If I can let you live a comfortable day, my surname isn't Chun." Now that he had said that, Third Fatty should really think about it carefully. If everyone tore down the house, leaving only him and his family behind, and with Changzi making things difficult for him every 2 or 3 days, wouldn't he have no place to cry? Everyone listen up. If you hand over the key today, sign up with me. Leave the matter of buying a house to me. I can get a house of 4,201 square meters. And it's just 3 miles east of here. If you can get a cheaper one, don't look for me. I've been begging the boss for a long time. This price is more suitable than second-hand houses. Chang patted his chest. The community was developed by Lu Feng's friend. At that time, he was out of money halfway, and it was Lu Feng who helped him a lot. Now that he heard about this matter, he generously agreed. Although the profit was too little, if he could really sell it to a few hundred families, at least the money would come back quickly, and it could be considered as returning Lu Feng's favor. Su Yin smiled and walked to Qin Zhongming. He said to him, "Uncle Qin, I think Feng Guoqing isn't done with this matter. A one-track mind won't think of this kind of trick. There must be someone who taught him. Feng Guoqing will definitely do something to you in the future. You have to be more careful." Qin Zhongming nodded and said with a grateful smile, "Su Yin, this time it's all thanks to you. Otherwise, I really don't know how to solve this matter. Just now, I was really worried that the person would set himself on fire. If that happened, I would be in big trouble. Uncle Qin, don't worry. I'm here. Chang and I will wait for you to completely solve this matter." Su Yin reassured Qin Zhongming. "Feng Guoqing must be looking for evidence that can be used against you. Although I know Uncle Qin doesn't have any evidence against you, I think you should try your best not to contact Wan. Otherwise, I'm worried Feng Guoqing might have other ideas." "Yeah, I thought of this too. Hee. Su Yin, thank you for reminding me." Qin Zhongming couldn't help but be surprised by Su Yun's attentiveness. After Chang made the announcement, he was the first to hold the key and ask for a signature. Because they all had certificates for their houses, they didn't need to measure them. Chang's house was less than 100 square meters, but because he was the first to hand in his house and had taken the lead, he received a check of 500,000 yuan in cash. When the other neighbors saw that Chang Zi had handed in the keys, they all eagerly lined up. Those who handed in the keys all reported to Chang Zi, saying that he would reserve a house of 4,200 square meters for them, and that 100 square meters was enough for them to live in. The entire demolition command center was crowded with people, and it was very lively. Su Yun didn't disturb Qin Zhongming's work anymore. He asked Chang Zi to stay here to help deal with some neighbors who wanted to buy houses. Then, he drove Chang Zi's Audi and left the demolition command center quickly. It had been a few days since he returned to Hudong, but he didn't have time to visit Tang Jingtian. Tomorrow night was the big day when Tang Jiu would be announced as the new head of the Tang family, so he had to be there. Therefore, before he left, he bought some things and went straight to the villa area in the easternmost part of Tuashan Mountain. Tang Jingtian had been living a comfortable life in Hudong these days. On the second day, he asked Sable to buy him a Labrador puppy from the pet market. Every day he would walk the puppy, take care of the flowers, and cultivate his character. He lived a very carefree life and didn't have to deal with those heavy responsibilities anymore. Only now did he realize that this was what life was like. Tang Jingtian was, of course, very happy to see Su Yun. He asked Hu Lang to make tea and Sable to wash the fruits. In the past 2 days, they had been following Tang Jingtian around. They had done everything, including bodyguards and housekeepers, but Tang Jingtian had never treated them as servants. "Uncle Tang, do you feel comfortable here?" Su Yun smiled and handed the things he bought to Hu Lang. Tang Jingtian nodded and said with satisfaction, "I didn't expect Jiu, to be so considerate. He actually found me such a good place to retire. Ever since I came to Hudong, I feel like I've become 10 years younger." "That's what Tang Jiu wants, ha ha ha." Su Yun said, "When I'm old, I'll buy a place here too. We'll be neighbors." "Then how long will I have to live?" "Haha, then I'll be an old monster." Tang Jingtian looked up to the sky and laughed. After laughing, he took a deep breath. "Tomorrow night is the day Jiu will announce his new position. I really miss it." Su Yun smiled. "Uncle Tang, don't worry. I'll be there tonight. I'll be there tomorrow, so don't worry. Just wait for Tang Jiu's good news." Tang Jingtian knew that he couldn't thank Su Yun with words. He just grabbed Su Yun's hand tightly and said, "Su Yun, Jiu's future is really up to you. She can't handle the Tang family alone. Other than you, I really don't like anyone else." Chapter 205. Tang Jingtian looked up at the crystal chandelier and nodded. "I hope so," he muttered to himself. Hu Lang was busy brewing tea. He poured a cup for Su Yun and said, "This is Boss Tang's favorite white tea. He doesn't use it unless it's an important guest." "Oh, then I'll have to try it." Su Yun smiled. It seemed that Hu Lang and Sable had gotten used to this peaceful life after leaving the underground world. They seemed to have lost interest in improving their state of mind and strength. Instead, they began to study flowers, plants, tea, and cooking. Tang Jingtian glanced at Hu Lang. "The only guest I can have here is Su Yun. This can't be described as important." "Haha. How about this? Su Yun, stay for lunch today and try their cooking. Uncle Tang, I'll try the tea, but I won't eat lunch. I still have some things to take care of when I get back. Otherwise, I won't be able to go to Jibei without worry," Su Yun said. "When I come back from Jibei, I'll definitely come here for lunch." Tang Jingtian nodded. "Since you've said so, I won't force you to stay. Let's have some tea." Su Yun had gone to Jibei City several times for the Tang family. This was already the best he could do. Tang Jingtian didn't have the right to ask for more. Although he really wanted to tell Su Yun that he hoped he could stay by Jibei City's Jiu's side forever, he couldn't selfishly ask for more. After being in Hudong City for so many days, he had more or less heard about Su Yun. After all, a tall tree attracts the wind. Su Yun's name was too well known here. Su-Yin had taken time out of his busy schedule to go to Jibei City to help his daughter and the Tang family. Tang Jingtian was already very grateful. How could he ask for more? Su-Yin chatted with Tang Jingtian for about an hour. Seeing that Tang Jingtian was fine, he could go to Northern Ji with peace of mind. He could also talk to Tang Jiao and tell her to completely relax and run the Tang family well. After sending off Su-Yin, Tang Jingtian asked Hu Lang and Sable to stop what they were doing and take his beloved dog to drive him around. Since Su-Yin was going to Jibei, he had nothing to worry about. The only thing he could do was to take care of his body and relax as much as possible. When Ruan Qingshuang found out that Su-Yin was going to Jibei, she was more or less bothered. She wanted to say that she would go with him, but she was afraid that she would delay him. In the end, she could only hold back her thoughts. Sister Shuang, Tang Jiao treats us as friends. Since she trusts me, of course I have to support her. Su-Yin, I'll only be there for 2 or 3 days. I'll leave Guogua and Chou Yan to you. Chou Yan's mood has been a bit strange these days. You're both women. If you have nothing to do, you can talk to her. You and Qin Wan'er can talk to her. I'm sure you'll be able to relax. Don't worry. I'll take care of everything here. Ruan Qingshuang said lightly. Since you've decided to leave after lunch, I'll make dumplings for you. There's a saying in my hometown. Rise dumplings, land noodles. When you come back, I'll make noodles with mixed soy sauce for you. Su-Yin was of course happy. He hadn't eaten dumplings made by himself for a long time. He usually ate frozen dumplings, which couldn't be compared with the dumplings made by his family. Anyway, there was nothing to do in the afternoon. Su-Yin washed his hands and helped. Kneading the dough, rolling the skin, and mixing the meat fillings were all easy. The two of them were busy, and time passed quickly. Liangshan and LV Winnie wanted to help, but they were all rejected by Su-Yin. He enjoyed this kind of feeling. After Guogua came back from school with Chou Yan, Qin Wan'er also came home from work. Su-Yin and Ruan Qingshuang also finished their work. Liangshan immediately ordered the kitchen to make room for Ruan Qingshuang. Ruan Qingshuang personally cooked dumplings for Su-Yin. When Qin Wan'er heard that Su-Yin was going to leave, she rolled her eyes several times. Finally, she said sarcastically, "It's only been a few days, and you're already thinking of your little sister Jiao?" "Yes, my little sister Jiao's words are much nicer than some people's. I don't feel that it's harsh at all." Su-Yin also mercilessly retorted. Guogua rolled her eyes a few times and looked at Qin Wan'er with a serious face. "Sister Wan'er, Mom hasn't been jealous about this yet. Why are you starting to be jealous? Don't fall too deep into my dad. You understand now?" Qin Wan'er picked up a dumpling and stuffed it into Guogua's mouth. "Such delicious dumplings can't even block your little mouth, right?" Guogua quickly ate the dumpling and complained that it was scalding, which made Qin Wan'er very angry. "How many days are you going this time?" Chou Yan frowned. "Do you still need my help?" "If I need help, I'll bring Qian Feng and the others." Su-Yin said lightly. "But I think that maybe there's no need for so many people over there. I can do it by myself. I'll be back in 2 or 3 days at most. There's no need to mobilize so many people." Chou Yan nodded and didn't say anything. Su-Yin didn't realize that there was something wrong with Chou Yan's face. He only cared about getting food for Guogua and told her to be good at home and not make trouble for mom and teacher. Guogua completely ignored these instructions. "Dad, do you think I'm those children? Don't worry about me. When you get to Jibei, you have to comfort Sister Xiaojiao. I can see that she likes you. No matter what, she's my sworn sister. You can't be too straightforward and hurt her heart. Otherwise, I won't forgive you. Well, you can't make the act real. That way Mother won't be happy. Also, Sister Wan'er might be jealous. Well, anyway, that's all I want to say. You can do as you see fit." This little girl's words made Su-Yin not know whether to cry or laugh. Her request was really too difficult. She was very thoughtful and thought about everyone's feelings, but she didn't think about him, a man who was sandwiched in the middle. It was much more difficult than any other woman. Guogua sighed. Seeing Su-Yun's bitter face, she could only comfort him. "Dad, if I was of legal age for marriage, I would definitely accept you. That way, you wouldn't be in a difficult position, and everyone wouldn't have to worry about you. I forgot to mention Sister Cho Yun. Although she doesn't say much, she is very concerned about you. Don't be gone for too long, everyone will miss you. This time, it wasn't just one person who picked up the dumplings. Ruan Qingshuang, Qin Wan and Cho Yun stuffed 3 dumplings into Guogua's mouth, filling it up. Even so, Guogua still stubbornly said, "What I said is the truth. Why, I was right. Well, you can't use so many dumplings." Well, Saren's mouth. After dinner, Su Yin left Chang's car keys at Ruan Qingshuang's place and called Chang. He had driven a car back from the Tang family's house. This time he would drive that car back directly. He would treat it as returning the car on the way back. Su Yin drove out of the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel. Dan Jiahao directly asked all the security guards to stand up and send him off at the door. That posture was quite imposing, as if a national leader had come to visit. Su Yin smiled helplessly and stepped on the accelerator. Soon they were far away from the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel. "Sai, it's really hard to be a good man. If I'm not careful, I'll break the hearts of a few women," Guogua said seriously. Then she walked with her hands behind her back and walked to the elevator alone. Ruan Qingshuang, Qin Wan and Cho Yun, who stayed at the door, were speechless. Now that Guogua spoke, their conditioned hearts would jump up to their throats. This feeling was really uncomfortable. Su Yin drove directly to the highway. He had driven to and fro Jibei City twice, so he was familiar with the road conditions. Along the way, there was no obstruction. He successfully reached Jibei City before bedtime. On the day Tang Jingtian left the Tang family, Aunt Shui was confirmed to have passed away in the hospital due to overdose of tranquilizers. Now Tang Jiu was the only one living in the 600-square-meter villa. That was why it was especially quiet at night. Su Yin didn't tell Tang Jiu that he was going back to Jibei City this time. Tang Jiu didn't ask Su Yin either. She felt that Su Yin had helped her enough. Moreover, her father went to Hudong this time and had many things to trouble Su Yin. This made Tang Jiu even more unable to ask Su Yin for help. Although Tang Jiu didn't have any confidence about what would happen tomorrow night, and didn't know what kind of problems those people would give her, she really hoped that there would be someone by her side who could support her. To her, this was a kind of psychological support, but now she couldn't find anyone. Although Tang Yifei seemed to be very supportive of her on the surface, Tang Jiu knew that she couldn't let Tang Yifei take the initiative tomorrow night. Otherwise, others would think that she was a puppet of her second uncle Tang Jinfeng and second brother Tang Yifei in the Tang family. She was very clear about this. Tang Yifei was going to play this card tomorrow. He would do everything he could to make everyone think that he was the real master of the Tang family. Moreover, at the same time, third uncle Tang Sangua, fourth brother Tang Xiaofeng, and fifth brother Tang Yi were definitely not easy to deal with. Although they would not be like Tang Yifei, who wanted to have a first impression, they would definitely help outsiders to question her. Needless to say, the other members of the Tang family wouldn't be able to help her at all. Thinking about what would happen tomorrow, Tang Jiu felt nervous, very nervous. Only now did she know how much effort her father had put into being the head of this family. Only now did Tang Jiu realize how tiring it was to fight and scheme against each other in the dark. Chapter 206. When she saw the car that Su Yin had driven away reappear in front of her house, Tang Jiu really suspected that she was dreaming. She did not expect that at such a crucial moment, Su Yin would appear in Jibei City to help her through this difficult situation. Tang Jiu hurriedly ran downstairs. The joy and excitement she felt was not something that anyone could understand. Everyone would hope that someone would stand up and help them during their most difficult time. However, there were often many things that required one to bear alone. This was the case with the Tang family. Tang Jiu was prepared to bear everything by herself. Su Yun's appearance was like sending charcoal in snowy weather. When the door opened, Su Yun drove the car directly into the courtyard and parked it. As soon as he got out of the car, Tang Jiu had already jumped over and hugged Su Yun's sturdy waist without hesitation. She buried her entire body deep into Su Yun's embrace. Su Yun laughed bitterly. "I say, do you have to be so big? Although it's lonely to be alone in such a big house, you don't have to be so excited when you see a man, do you? Be more reserved, Tang Jiu. Can't you be more reserved? Tang Jiu waved her delicate fist and punched Su Yun's shoulder. She said with a somewhat coquettish and tender voice, "Why didn't you tell me in advance that you're coming? At least let me be prepared. It's good to be surprised. My sudden appearance means that you don't have to roll around in bed alone." What a surprise. Su Yun was full of nonsense. Tang Jiu glared at him fiercely. "You're always so flippant. If you really want me to flirt with you, then I'll do it tonight." Su Yun chuckled. His expression was like a big bad wolf that had seen a little white rabbit. Tang Jiu snorted. Then, she pulled Su Yun into the house. She had a lot of questions to ask him. "Since you're coming back to accompany me, why didn't you tell me in advance? You must know that I haven't been eating or sleeping well for the past few days. You're such a bastard. Hey, watch your tone. I didn't come here to listen to you scold me." Su Yun, I know it's going to be hard for you to bear the burden alone tomorrow, but you're a stubborn person. If I had told you earlier, you would have said that you could do it alone, and that I didn't need to be a busybody. How awkward would that have been for me? Should I have come here shamelessly or not? Come at me shamelessly, Tang Jiu said bluntly. As she spoke, she moved to get a cup of freshly ground coffee for Su Yun. There was a hint of worry in her excited expression. "How is my father now?" Su Yun smiled. He knew that this guy had a sharp tongue but a soft heart. He was obviously worried, but he still pretended to be indifferent. "Everything is fine. You don't have to worry about Uncle Tang in Hudong. My friends will take care of him. What's more, he's relaxed now. All that's left is to cultivate his body and mind. If you have time, you should worry more about your own matters. What can happen to me?" Tang Jiu said stubbornly. "Since you're here, are you going to accompany me to the cocktail party tomorrow night?" Su Yun shrugged. "If you think I'm a dispensable burden, then I don't have to attend. Haha, I think there are a lot of people who don't want me to attend, right? For example, your uncles and brothers. I wonder what their expressions will be like when they see me." Tang Jiu was full of confidence now. With Su Yun holding the fort, she really wanted to know what the others would do. "I didn't say you're a burden. Since you're so sincere, I won't take your sincerity for granted. How about this? You can be my male partner at the cocktail party tomorrow. Let's make it clear first, there's no salary. It's completely a friendly performance. Are you willing?" Su Yun rubbed his chin. "No money? I really have to think about it." "Think about it, my ass." Tang Jiu couldn't help but laugh at Su Yun. "You've been driving for hours. It's time for you to get some rest. I don't want my male partner to be listless tomorrow." Su Yun smirked. "You're going to sleep just like that? You didn't order anything else?" Tang Jiu glared at him. "What else do you want?" "I want." Su Yun looked at Tang Jiu's serious face and couldn't help but laugh. "I want a massage, but I'm afraid you're not professional. If you think you're good at it, I don't mind you relaxing for me." Tang Jiu spat. "Dream on. You'll stay in Guogua's room tonight. If you're hungry, I'll cook you a bowl of noodles. If you're not hungry, you can go wash up and sleep." Su Yun wasn't interested in her, so he chose to wash up and sleep. Su Yun's arrival made Tang Jiu extremely excited. After she returned to her room, she couldn't calm down for a long time. Although she wanted to talk to Su Yun through the night, in order to ensure that Su Yun had a good night's rest, she held back. She knew that if she really talked to Su Yun tonight, she wouldn't be able to sleep that night. Tang Jiu suppressed her impulse and closed the door. She drew the curtains, put on an eye mask and earplugs, and crawled into bed. Everything could wait until she woke up tomorrow. She didn't want to be exhausted tomorrow. Su Yun took a shower. He felt relaxed and refreshed. This feeling was really good. Just as he put on his clothes and was about to say goodnight to Tang Jiu, he suddenly saw a figure outside the window. The figure carefully jumped out of the door without making a sound. If Su Yun wasn't standing at an angle where he could see it, he wouldn't have noticed that someone had appeared in the Tang residence. To be able to do it so quietly, the person must be an expert. Su Yun's heart skipped a beat. Without thinking, he opened the window and jumped out to chase after the figure. The sound of the window opening obviously startled the figure in the dark. The figure paused for a moment. then ran out without a care for his own safety. Suyin knew that the person had already noticed him and was chasing after him. Therefore, he wouldn't let him go. Without another word, he chased after the figure with all his might. In the middle of the night, two ghostly figures, one in front and one behind, ran like lightning for 5 to 6 kilometers. Suyin was amazed by the person's amazing speed. Even if he tried his best, he could only slowly close the distance between them. Finally, the person seemed to have run out of energy. The distance between Suyin and him had shrunk from about 100 meters to about 10 meters. Knowing that he couldn't escape, the person suddenly stopped. Just as Suyin caught up with him, he suddenly attacked Suyin's face. Suyin made a judgment the moment the person stopped. He raised his leg and kicked the person's fist. The fist and the foot collided. Under the fierce impact of the two forces, Suyin didn't move at all. However, the person lost his balance and quickly retreated 6 to 7 steps before stopping. Yanlong Suyin, you really live up to your reputation. Although the person was obviously at a disadvantage in one move, his voice didn't have the slightest hostility towards Suyin. It was more of admiration. Even so, Suyin would never let his guard down. He was very cautious of anyone who could call out his name. The other party's strength was also very strong. To be able to withstand his kick just now, it showed that he was definitely at the peak of a first-class master's strength. Who are you? How do you know who I am? Suyin didn't deny his identity. He would never do something meaningless. Since the other party could call out his name, it meant that he definitely knew who he was. There was no point in denying it. The person cupped his fist and said, I am Wang Zhe. I have absolutely no malice toward you. If I have offended you, please forgive me. Wang Zhe. Suyin carefully looked at the person's angular face and lightning-like expression. He whispered, You are the big blade Rakshasa? That is all thanks to the brothers and friends who thought highly of me and gave me a title. In front of Yanlong, I definitely don't dare to call myself Rakshasa. Big blade Rakshasa, Wang Zhe modestly said. Today's matter has offended you. Please forgive me. Suyin had heard of this person's name. It was famous enough in the underground world. After all, he was a first-class master. However, this person had never done anything outrageous. Today, Suyin really couldn't understand why he came to the Tang family. What is your purpose in coming to the Tang family? Suyin coldly said. Even if the other party was a pervert, he wouldn't trust him too much. After all, he was someone who sneaked into the Tang family in the middle of the night. Wang Zhe's face was full of shame. I swear that I have nothing to do with the Tang family. I beg Yanlong not to ask too much. Suyin's face was still cold. Since you know that I am Yanlong, you should know what I do. If you don't make things clear, do you think I will let you go? No matter whether this person had any purpose in coming to the Tang family, Suyin wouldn't let him go. If he swore that he really had nothing to do with the Tang family, then he obviously had something to do with himself. If he had something to do with himself, then Suyin wouldn't let him go easily. He knew that he was Yanlong, and his purpose was even more terrible. I have absolutely no malice. Wang Zhe's face didn't change much. He didn't look like he was lying. If you don't let me go, then I can only force my way in. Hearing that he was going to force his way in, Suyin was interested. He wanted to see how he would force his way in. Okay, then you can try. Wang Zhe's face suddenly turned cold, and he ran away. Suyin followed closely behind, and before Wang Zhe could reach him, he turned around and hit Suyin's chest with a tricky punch. Suyin reflexively blocked it with his fist, and then followed up with a punch, not holding back at all. Wang Zhe saw this and directly shrank back. Although his posture was a little awkward, it was enough to effectively avoid Suyin's fist. Based on this reaction alone, Suyin dared to say that his strength was definitely above that of the ghost-face Azura Zhang Yongliang. When he fought with Zhang Yongliang before, Zhang Yongliang used all his internal energy to protect his heart and meridians to take this punch. Obviously, Big Blade Azura Wang Zhe's choice was smarter. You're tuning into the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.